Greetings, tastemakers. We're back again with the Daily Cook-Up with yours truly, Bryce G, for the Lord, for the people. I hope y'all enjoy this. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon, get plugged in, subscribe to the YouTube, and make sure you follow me on all platforms at BryceG.707. Guarantee you won't be disappointed. Let's enjoy this mix. Let's get to it.
Bryce G, for the Lord, for the people. Let's go.
Christians can't do what? Wait. You can tell that I'm not one of them. If you people, yeah, I'm moving different. Told my Bible is gonna do the damage. So you know I do not need a sniffing. Preaching the gospel, you know I ain't playing. You can leave if you don't wanna listen. He give me power, these demons I'm slaying. Cause you know the Messiah is risen. Not the much time on this earth. Die without Yeshua, it's gonna really hurt. Doesn't really matter, last is gonna be first. Yeah, he coming back, you gotta stay alert. Open up your Bible, stay up in the word. That's the Holy Spirit, not a number bird. Devil, he deceiving, trying to make you burn. Stay up in the spirit, you gotta discern. Like, I don't wrestle with flesh and blood, for real, no, I'm not the man. If you finna stuck all the Heavenly Father, you'll be surprised how close he is. Your life is a test, the Bible's the answers. You know I'm getting the A on the quiz. Only one way up to heaven, Jesus, cause he died for your sins. I keep a scripture up on my mind for any demon trying to act like he tough. If they try to play, then I could be blowing these verses. Like enough is enough. Demons can run up on any other human. Run up on me, you gon' run out of luck. Cause 24/7 I pray in the spirit. Working out, we are spiritually buffed. Saying we trying to get one-on-ones, that boy really think we gon' box like Tyson. But I just got me a brand new Bible, NIV, why would I be fighting? He try to rush me up it. Luke 10:19, watch him fall like lightning. Yeah, I'm forever gon' ride for my God Jehovah, but I don't need a license. Like, if I got my God on my side, then tell me like, how can I man? The price I was smoking, weed didn't hit me. No, I do not wanna live like this. Cause I was gonna make music for the Lord. The devil he mad, that boy he was pissed. He said ain't nobody rockin' with gospel rap, I don't care, I'm still taking that risk. Now I began DMs from people saying my music been changing their life. I just replied, glory to God, Jesus, you know he paid that price. I'm already knowing, you know I ain't perfect. Yeah, it's a process, I'm trying to live right. So whenever they ask me, don't you reverend? I'm like, I rather Jesus Christ.
Yo, born with Millie, ain't not even Millie. Wait, hold up, I don't even want no. Yo, born with Millie, ain't not even Millie. Wait, hold up, I don't even want no. Yo, born with Millie, ain't not even Millie. Wait, hold up, I don't even want no bag.
What's going on, Tech Boy?
Like the cow.
What's going on, my? Hey, Mary Sophie, yes I am, You already know the
beat boy in the stool. Yo, the decoy that went fool. I'm the beat boy like fool.
use the bathroom.
And if I street bomb for you, I
miss y'all
He
so
just woke
much.
up, it's a brand new day. JC got me now, I'm saying the judge try to call me out. He
Don't be scared, don't be scared.
That's taking the money, I'm seeking his face. I'm seeking Jesus. He saved me, they can't believe it. Yeah, he did. Shut me out, boy, I'm getting sturdy. Now I'm clean, my God cleaned me up when I was dirty. I get it sturdy, I get it sturdy, I get it wild. Yo, I get it sturdy, I get it wild. I get it what? I get it sturdy. I get it sturdy, I get it sturdy. I get it sturdy.
I'm ballin' with Lazarus. Yellow tape is getting hazardous. A Christian with their mouth shut or a person with their mouth stuffed. Can't tell who the fatter is. Used to get fried like the battery. Now I'm so high off the spirit. They speak it out here. I know who my master is. They say I'm next to man, that's really flattering. But I don't need the praise, I don't need the fame. I just want them to be seeking his face. Look to the kingdom, boy, look to the gates. He cleaned me when I was so dirty, that's grace. Thought I wasn't needing G-O-D. All I thought I need to be is a G. Put my sins to bed, I put him to sleep. Resisting the devil, I got him to flee. Talk hocus pocus on the beat. Now I'll be spreading the word when I speak. Like how that boy so cool but still bring the heat. Cause God he done broke these chains and now I'm free. I used to get the money when I need. I used to get the money when I want. I used to get the money when I please. Then I realized that the pain of
Hey, Tyree, welcome to the chat. Hope you had a great. I hope you had a great week too, Tyree. I got your Twitter message. I read it. I totally forgot to respond to it because I was out at the time, but I got it. Just let you know. I hope y'all had a wonderful week. Man, I missed y'all. I missed y'all so much. You don't even know.
Like Disney, flesh it feels so tempting. Ready, walking these spot is heavy. Only care about getting the fetty. That's got you feeling the steady. I'm in the zone like a safety. Playing the paint with Da Vinci. Put on a show like Disney. Flesh it feels so tempting. Every single verse, a TED talk. Do this asleep. Man, it's a bed walk. Get in the word. I don't do pet talk. Step with the verse. Calling it bread talk. I'm leaving.
welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, y'all. Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. We gotta hit the little rewind button. We gotta DJ scratch real quick. Tech boy, did you just say you got married? Huh? What you mean? What you mean you got married? Sir, you're like a kid. Who you get married to? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, to your phone. To your phone. I got you, bro. I got you. Don't be scaring us like that, bro. Don't be scaring us like that. But welcome. Y'all, I'm back. Oh, I had some gunshots on my board, but I don't. I am back. Before we get into it real quick, you already know. We got to get back to it. Trunks. Play my intro. Yes. I hope y'all had a wonderful week, because you already know I did. Here, let me show you. I got my ring right here. I don't know if you can see it. But it's on my necklace. I hope y'all could see it. If you wonder why it's not on my finger, I actually don't like the feeling of jewelry on my fingers or like right here on my wrist. I could barely do bracelets and watches. So we just said we gonna put on a necklace. I did say, I was like, look, he was like, if we out at dinners and all that, can you just try to put it on and deal with it? I was like, sure, we'll try. But most of the time, it's going to live right here on my neck. That's it. It's going to live right here. KL, welcome back. Like I said, we got Tyree in here. We got Tech Boy in here. Tech Boy look at this. Should women wear pants? Is Earth flat? Is the moon real? He been eager to just get all this off. He has a week worth of questions ready to go off. But hey, I hope y'all had a blessed week. I know I did. Church service yesterday was immaculate. Man, it really got me thinking about a lot of stuff. Y'all already see the title, right? So apparently I had to stop myself from watching this. This came out literally the week. Remember Thursday where I was like, okay guys, bye. See you in a week. Very next day, I guess that night, Matt Fradd had this, like, he was live with Dennis Prager from PragerU. And they got into this whole thing. And the heated part of it was about like pornography or whatever. Very next day, Kyle was like, hey, you need to do this on your live stream. And I'm just like, sure, no problem. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna get looked at for a minute. But we here now. Y'all see it. So this is what we're going to be reacting to today. There's so much stuff I had to not watch just so I could watch with y'all. It was crazy. Some of y'all saw me on the interwebs out in the wild. I saw Tyree in a Gothic stream. Where you said, I'm scared because Tucker got fired and my mom got excited. Oof, yikes. I'm scared because I'm a conservative, and what if my mom finds out? Look, you just have to hide that till you are 18 and out of the house, sir. Once you are 18 and out the house, it's okay. You can do whatever you gotta do, but until then, you just gotta be low key and hide that part of you until moms, you get away from moms. That's all. But let's go ahead and get into this debate. It says, heated debate on pornography with Dennis Prager from PragerU. This is from Pints with Aquinas. This should be interesting. Let's go ahead and hop right on into this.
Let's talk about the pornography thing.
Right. Well, that was...
Actually, before we get into this, I'm burning my hand. Yo, yikes. You said you miss your friends? But I have a national security event to go to on the 5th. When you say you miss your friends, where your friends at? They not at school no more? Are you still in school? Because I don't know when school be ending nowadays. I don't know when it be ending nowadays for y'all. You said Dennis talks about marinating in sin. What? What does that mean? What he mean by that? To be fair, Dennis also been married like 50 bazillion times. So his views is already going to be a little Little messed up. He probably didn't learn nothing. But let's see what they talking about, because I abstained from watching this for the longest. They came to Robotics Club and left him barely addressed. Bro, I need you to take it a little bit slower when you write, because I don't know what you're talking about for a little bit. You said he talks about how porn was in his house, so it's all good. Ooh, yikes. All right.
When you discussed it with Father Dave.
Well, you'll have to ask the people there. I mean, I can only judge it from my perspective. I thought it went terrific.
When I saw that clip of you on Exodus, I got the sense that you were a bit sidelined.
Oh, totally.
And as somebody who has a talk show, I wish that I could go back and rephrase things
that's correct.
or add
That
some
is
nuance to them.
I wrote a letter. I hope you
trust
saw
me,
it.
okay.
And it was the last thing I imagined being asked at an Exodus course with Jordan Peterson and a bunch of scholars whom I adored, by the way. Nevertheless, I should have. I wish I had phrased it better. It is what it is, and I phrased it better tonight without being untrue to myself.
Right.
And what I did not see, a big part of the.
Hey, Tech Boy sounded like Counselor Mack. He said smoking's bad, okay? It's breaking his brain. I mean, if you say that, I mean, Matt smokes too, so that's not a good. It's not a good insult, you know.
The problem. Should I review this for your watchers, listeners?
Review
what happened so that they'll understand what you're
please.
I'm gonna see what you
about.
mean. Okay, Tyree.
So the Daily Wire asked me to join Jordan Peterson, or Jordan Peterson asked me to join, or both of them asked, because he's doing the book of Exodus. There were, I believe, 16 sessions of 90 minutes each. It's a lot of time, with no commercials.
How many days did you film this in?
8.
8 days.
Yes, 8 days each time in Miami, and it was wonderful. I loved it. So what arose at one time, and I had even forgotten about this. It was 5 minutes out of, let's see, what is 16 times an hour and a half? 24 hours. So it's 5 minutes out of 24 hours. And what happened was, I don't even remember how the issue arose, but I mentioned that there is a Jewish-Christian difference with regard to Jesus' statement that a man who lusts after another woman has committed adultery with his heart. That that phrase does not appear, obviously, in the Hebrew Bible, but B, that the general Jewish view, and I say general because I can't speak for all Jews, even though I try to be normative, is that you can only commit adultery with, and I said this in the video, and I purposely said I'm not trying at all to be cute in any way. You can only commit adultery with one organ, and it is not the heart. Judaism is very behavior-based. Christianity is more, it's not that it's not behavior-based, but it is equally, if not more, thought, inner self, heart-based. So, for example, there's a phrase in Hebrew that I learned very early in my yeshiva education. I'll say it in Hebrew so that people will know I didn't make it up. Lo hamachshava ha'ikar.
You said, does anyone have a spare laptop? Yo, saying, Kayla, what's going on, Kayla? Welcome to the stream. Like the stream, guys. Hey, y'all see that? Go ahead, like the stream. Kayla already telling y'all, like, hey, if you here, you need to start liking this. Get them likes up. Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate you. He said, does anyone have a spare laptop? Bro, I promise you, Tech Boy, if you would have asked me this like a couple months ago, I would have hooked you up with mine. I don't have it anymore. I legit would have sent it to you, too. I don't have it no more. Before he gets into what he's saying right here, him saying we view adultery differently, isn't that literally in the Old Testament when they talk about adultery? Like the first 5 books, isn't that in there? So what is he talking about? I'm so confused.
It is not the thought that counts. Not that counts. That is the essence, but the deed.
Right.
Judaism is very behaviorist, and I am very behaviorist. So, for example, and I mentioned this at Franciscan. I've said on the radio very often, I don't care if you like Jews. I don't care if you dislike Jews. I prefer you like Jews, but there are a lot of Jews I don't like. I mean,
facts. Look what Tyree just said. I got my hands on a Tanakh on Saturday. There's no New Testament in it because it's the Jewish book. Facts. That's basically what the Old Testament is. That's literally before we get to Christ and whatnot. I don't know what he's talking about. Then again, maybe I'm missing some stuff because I was like, I'm raised in a household where I was like a cultural Jew. So maybe I'm just like, maybe it's past me and I just don't understand this part. But I could have sworn based on the little bit I know now, like we carry the same views on adultery. I think our views differ. I think the Jewish and Christian views on adultery is the same, and where it differs is our views against the Muslims' views. So, hey, he might be Jewish, so it makes. I think he is Jewish.
I mean, it's just a little silly to say I like a whole group. There's no whole group I like. There's no whole group I dislike. Mm-hmm. But in any event, I don't care if you dislike Jews. I care how you treat Jews, and that is it goes to the essence of what my belief is. I want to know how you act. The left does this all the time. Oh, you treat gays beautifully. Like in my case, my wife and I are godparents to a gay couple's children. But the fact that I'm against a same-sex marriage, that makes me a hater. Mm-hmm. So how I treat gays is irrelevant. It's what I think. This bothers me that your thoughts can be regarded as a demerit.
But your thoughts wouldn't be uncharitable towards people with same-sex attraction. You would just think that the behavior is presumably sinful. So they would be wrong in their thinking of you as a homophobe.
What bothers me the most is that we redefine marriage.
Okay.
When my Leviticus commentary comes out, that'll be the 5th of my 5-volume commentary on the Torah. Mm-hmm. I have already written 22,000 words on one verse, which, of course, I've never done for any other verse, about a man shall not lie with a man as with a woman. And so without even getting into that, the point I wanted to make was, for the left, what I think renders me awful, not what I do. So my treatment of gays is excellent, but the fact that I don't think marriage should be redefined is enough to make me a hater, bigot, homophobe, and all the other terms that they use. Anyway, back to us.
Let me interject here. So Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics, right, has these 4 levels of the vicious to the virtuous man. The vicious man is the one who wants to do evil and does it. And he has the incontinent man, the continent man. But he says the virtuous man is the one who wants to do the good and does it. And so to me, I have children. If one of them held anti-Semitic views but treated you kindly, I would say, well, that's better than holding anti-Semitic views and being bad toward you. But I would think that's not where I would settle.
That's fine. That's fine. I respect that.
And I also want to say that I think I agree with you that that obviously adultery and lust are different things. If they weren't different things, we wouldn't have 2 separate words for them. But
right. Also, which comes somewhat of a revelation to my Christian friends, is there is no sin of this. There are 613 laws in the Torah. None of them say do not lust. You can't covet. Covet is a very different concept than lust. Covet means you want to take what belongs to another, and there's a very simple proof that it doesn't mean lust. Covet, you don't lust after a house or a donkey, one presumes, and yet you're not allowed to covet those either.
But do you make a distinction between...
Okay, but he's talking about the Torah. This is where I'm confused at, because he's talking about the Torah. Like, adultery is in there. I could have sworn it was in there. And it literally means what we think it means as Christians. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, because I could have sworn. Let me look at the comments real quick, because I'm like, what is he talking about? What is this guy talking about? Kids at school were asking me about if I'm a Republican, if I accepted gays, and if I was a communist. Okay, well, the kids need to learn the difference between a communist and a republic, but that's a whole... Here's my thing. Why do the kids at your school care so much, right? Why do they care so much? Like, that's what I want to know. It's like, look, if y'all don't rock with me, you don't rock with me. But, like, y'all are very curious about these things. Why are y'all so curious? 22,000 words on one verse, that's wild. That was kind of crazy when he said that. Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. Correct. It is. That's why when he keeps saying we view adultery and stuff different, it's like, no, you don't. It's viewed literally the same way. That's what makes this very weird. Yeah, adultery is in the Old Testament. This is what's confusing, because he's just like, in the Jewish Bible, we view this different than how the Christians view it. But it's like, no. Okay, we read that too, and it's the same thing. He's confusing me so far, because he's not making any sense. You said I'm not a Republican, I'm a kid. They care because I'm outspoken. Stay outspoken. Don't hide who you are. Keep staying outspoken. They can ask all the questions in the world, but that's not going to change nothing. Keep being you, bro.
Sexual desire and lust? Do you see a distinction?
No, I
there?
don't.
Okay, so therefore, if you don't see a distinction between those two things, I can see why you would think it insane to tell somebody they shouldn't
I don't know
lust.
how you sexually desire your wife and have no lust for her.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
So I would...
Hold on, what? Wait a minute, what? So is he a grifter or a flop? Man's just been married a bazillion times. He has no clue what's going on. Kyle, what's going on, bro? Welcome to the stream. You said adultery, yes, but he says later on that you can only commit adultery with one organ, and it's not the heart. He said something like that a little bit earlier too, but that doesn't make... All right. Leviticus 20. Yeah. Okay, cool. We all on the same page, because I'm like, what is this dude talking about? I'm going to go back 10 seconds because I feel like I missed something.
Desire your wife and have no lust for her.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
So I would think
that's interesting.
I would think that lust...
So you think
right,
so
Tyre,
lust...
right.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I've never confronted it quite this way. So lust...
Lust reduces the subject to an object. It subordinates the dignity of the person to the good of a selfish pleasure. It's also a distorted sexual act. So it's an act which is contrary to human nature or to the end of the sexual act, I suppose.
So if...
You said Ben Shapiro also made some comments. I saw, and I didn't want to look at those either because I wanted to watch this first. I've been holding myself off from watching this for like a whole week. Just so I could watch it today. We gonna get into that next. Whenever this ends, I'm gonna jump into the Ben Shapiro comments.
Sexual desire and lust are different. Can you sexually desire a woman you're not married to and not lust for her?
Yes.
Oh, well,
I would think so.
Okay, I haven't heard that from a Christian
because
before.
I suppose there were like 3 stages, if I would think of it. Like, if I board an airplane and I sit next to a beautiful woman and I'm attracted to her sexually, how could I not be?
Okay,
that's beyond my control.
I couldn't
now the
agree with
next
you
step
more,
could be,
right?
Now what do I do with that? Do I sit here and fantasize about what I could do with her sexually? Like, at that point, the will is engaged, and that is something within my control.
Right.
So I think it is important to make that distinction, and I think that might be part of what drives some Christians neurotic if they think, well, I'm sexual desire is a sin. Can't sexually desire anybody who isn't my wife.
Well, I think not only Christians, but I think in some cases with Jews too, that it does drive people to be neurotic.
It's like if I said to you, don't think of a pink elephant.
Well, better. Don't. You're in a restaurant. Don't think of food.
Right.
Because that's a real
Stop it.
life.
Very bad. Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd go crazy.
That's right. And by the way, the more you don't think about it, the more you think about it. So there's that element too.
Agreed.
I do.
Abigail, you just came out of nowhere talking about Catholics are wrong. We not even talking about that. We're talking about pornography. Where did that come from? You said, hey, I have a system to destroy crushes. It's called the Ally System. All right, bro. My big takeaway from this whole interview was how desperately we all need Christ. Facts. So his whole thing with when they were talking about lust, and they're just like, the more you don't think about it, you think about it. He said something like that. And they said it's like, what do you do with that when you see somebody hot or whatever? I actually noticed that, like, and I'm not even gonna cap to y'all either. Ever since I became Christian, like, looking at other people, I just be like, oh, they fine or they hot, knowing I'm in a relationship. But I also knew nothing was ever gonna happen. It's just, you know how they tell you, they be like, there's nothing wrong with looking. You're not doing anything. The moment I actually, like, fully accepted Christ and I, like, that night I prayed, I was maybe like 2 or 3 days in being Christian. I had this full-blown crying meltdown and all that. All of that just went away. I can't explain it. Like, I just look at people now and I feel nothing. Like, it's... You definitely need Christ, because without Christ, you just see something, you be like, dang, they look good. It's like, I don't even do that anymore. Hold on now, wait a minute. You said inflict your damage? Dang, tech boy, that's wild. Why you want that, bro? You missed me. That's all that is. All this little brother energy you're giving me, you missed me, bro. I know, I was gone for a week.
I differ with you, and I did with the father. And by the way, I mentioned this is very important to note. What a credit it is to Franciscan University, A, having me. A, as a religious Jew, obviously doesn't believe in Christ. I'm not a Christian. And B, that they discussed openly with me at the university what they heard me say on Daily Wire. But
Probably.
he did raise this issue about sexual objectification, and that reduces the human being as one created in God's image, etc. Just what you said now. And I have a different view of that.
Sure.
I think this. I suspect you may have not heard this before in one of your podcasts.
Here we go.
From any of your guests. I think that in the bedroom, if a loving husband and who is a loving husband, and I have a word to say about what a loving husband is, a loving husband who sees his wife in the bedroom as a sexual object, I will be totally open with you. I have said on the radio, if after X number of years married, your husband still sees you as a sex object, you are both very lucky.
I would say it depends what you mean by sex object. If what you mean is your husband continues...
What kind of terminology is if he still sees you as a sex object, it's like, excuse me? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You love the Daily Wire hosts? They're great. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Candace gets a little bit on the gossipy side sometimes, but they cool overall.
Just to find you sexually desirable, I would agree with you. If what you mean is the man essentially treats his wife as a warm body to masturbate in, not taking into account her feelings, her desires.
Oh, of course,
right.
but that's not this. That's not objectification. Has a dirty name. He said he doesn't. The father said one shouldn't even objectifies baseball players, and it was an excellent analogy. I had thought of that myself, but I do objectifize the baseball player.
I'm not sure if I agree with him.
But it doesn't mean that you would automatically mistreat the baseball player.
That's right, but I'm in a different relationship with the baseball player than I am with the
Correct, but there is a place
to.
in the totality of a relationship. So here is my motto, because I talk about men and women every week for an hour on my radio show, and I have for about 20 years. And that is, you make love outside the bedroom, and you have sex inside the bedroom. I think it's a romanticization of the sex act to say that it's always making love. It's okay to make lust. It's okay to have some objectification. That doesn't mean you're mistreating her.
Yeah, I think I'd want to know what you mean by objectification.
Because
I have the sense that
hold on. I need to know what he means by that as well, because there is another content creator. I don't know their views on this now, but this was like months ago in one of their videos or one of their live streams where they said a woman is nothing more than a fleshlight. This was a crazy thing to hear them say, because that content creator is married, and it's just like, yo, how do you really feel about your wife if that's all you think your like wife is? That's wild. So hearing him say this is kind of like, what you mean, Dennis? What you mean? You said Candace talked about this she did? Oh, we gonna have to, all right, Ben Shapiro and then Candace. We gonna have to follow this. We gonna have to keep following this. Wow, yeah, I know. It's a crazy thing to say about your spouse.
You're using language to convey something that I might agree with.
Yes, you might. I think you really might. I agree with you. It certainly doesn't mean mistreat. It's not even implied. But any more than with the baseball player. Now, and you'll say, well, I have a different relationship with the baseball player. But you're right. Sex is its own world. I don't like to romanticize sex. Sex is many, many things. Sometimes it's love. Sometimes it's just pure sex. When it's pure sex and not just love, there is an element of objectification. I'm crazy about her legs. Is that a statement of love? What do you mean? You don't love legs?
Well, what do you mean by love, right? So I would say Aristotle and Aquinas would say that to love is to will the good of the other for their sake. So
Correct.
I don't will my wife.
Tech Boy said this one R-rated real fast. Hey, look, you knew what you were watching. You knew what you were watching based on this title. 20 years speaking and no broken noses. Hey, look.
It's good for my sake. It's not like I say, honey, I really need you to go to CrossFit so I can lust after you.
Well, what?
But if I want her to get healthy for her sake, then this is love.
But
so
if she says to you, honey, there's a certain thing that you could do for me sexually that will really turn me on, and it may not really turn you on, are you being objectivized? Or are you doing it because you love her and because she wants it?
Well, first of all, she's asked a question in which I presumably am free to decline.
If she's not free to decline, that's coercion, and there's no room for that.
So there is
objectification
and
coercion
are not the same thing. So if she's asking me a question
which
I'm free to decline,
right? So, honey, would you put on this sexy outfit for me? Are you okay with that?
Me?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that's a question I didn't expect you to ask.
Well,
me.
you opened it up.
I would not be okay with that.
That's interesting.
I don't think.
Even in the bedroom.
It's not that I'd be morally opposed to it. It's just that I'd feel uncomfortable with it.
Well,
I mean, different strokes for different folks. I mean, if your spouse be like, would you mind rocking this for me? Or I should say, let me change that. Would you mind wearing this for me? Or whatever. If your spouse not comfortable, you kind of just got to kind of deal with that. So...
My view is that the more comfort the couple has, the better the relationship.
I think that's right, so long as comfort doesn't lead to what I would consider to be sexually perverse acts.
Well, why
like
is it sexually
sodomy.
perverse to wear a sexy outfit?
It's not, and that's why I said I'm not morally opposed to it. But if you're saying
so your
that
discomfort is personal. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's not an area I need to get into.
One thing I would love you to get into, because you did say this in the email, is you think that the widespread proliferation of pornography is destroying teenagers.
Yes.
Help people hear this side of what...
I gave an example tonight. So I'm very friendly with a young woman. She's 23. Very, very close to her. People could guess who it is because I do a podcast with her.
Okay.
So she is so open, God bless her. I don't think she would object to my telling this story. In fact, maybe it was even discussed on one of our podcasts. We're very, very open. So she was on a date, and they were both attracted. It was not the first date, and they kissed. That's all they did. They kissed. Okay. And in the midst of the kiss, he grabbed her neck.
Oh.
Like this. And even me, Mr. Open, was taken aback. And so was she. To her credit, when she took his hand away, she said either then or later that evening or later another time, why did you do that? And he, to his credit, was open enough to say, I thought you would like it. That's what I see on the internet. That's a bad thing.
We talking about porn right now?
That's the number of young men who learn about women through porn and not real life.
Oh, we are talking about it now.
Is a very scary thing that has developed. So I am as worried as you are about the pornification of society. When I answered the question that Jordan Peterson asked, which came out of nowhere, I'm not blaming him in the least. It was a perfectly legit question, but it came out of nowhere. I was thinking still in the way I have always defined it as Playboy magazine. That, to me, that was porn. The stuff that is out there now is not what I think of when I'm asked the question. And so I did say this to the father tonight. and I'm sure it shocked everybody there.
Did you ask it? No, keep on. I was about to make a bad joke.
You'll get a charge out of this intellectually. It'll blow your mind, I think. So my dad was an Orthodox Jew, modern Orthodox, admittedly, but Orthodox. Never drove on the Sabbath, never ate a non-kosher food, wore a yarmulke in the house, sent the kids to yeshiva. I mean, he was the real deal. He was the president of the Kingsway Jewish Center, still exists, an Orthodox synagogue in Brooklyn, New York. And he subscribed to Playboy, which shocks Jews as well as non-Jews, to be honest.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Good.
Glad that it does.
Yes. Okay. However, so I was raised in a very sexually open home that was also deeply religious, and I never found them conflicting, as he didn't. And so he was an outlier, I acknowledge, and I am an outlier, I acknowledge. However, I want people to understand my parents were together 72 years, and they loved each other crazy. When she died at 89, he died at 96. He basically, his life ended. His screensaver was "I love you, Hindi." That was his nickname for her. Her name was Hilda. And she knew he got Playboy. This did not trouble my mother. Oh, that's Mac. Okay, I'm married to a live wire who was faithful and who loved me, and she was crazy about him, and that was it.
What would be better?
Well, okay, I have a question now. First off, that's kind of weird. You that religious, but you still hopping into, you still getting Playboy. Do they even still make Playboys? I feel like with how everything is nowadays, with like, especially now with VR, and there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. Is that even still like a thing people buy? Starting there, let me hop in the comments real quick. Yikes. Both these guys are grifting ping pong or trigger questions. I don't think they're grifting. I think so. Dennis, the old guy on the left, he's been married a bazillion times, so his views on porn and stuff is going to be all over the place. Matt's actually cool. He's not a grifter, to my knowledge. Like, he's not a grifter. He's actually pretty cool. Oh, and then Kyle said he's one of the most sincere guys I ever met. Okay. You never found it conflicting? That's a you problem? Yeah. I don't get the whole, I'm super religious, but we have an openly sexualized, like, home. That's a whole gateway to some other stuff. It's like, okay, he's into Playboy and whatnot. What else is he into that you don't know of? Because there's always something you don't know of. It always is. And this is coming from somebody who also watched porn at one point in time. Like, there is stuff that my boyfriend knew. Well, I guess now husband. But there was stuff he knew I watched. And then there was stuff he did not know I knew I watched. Because it was like, it's too embarrassing. Once you start porn, it's like, you go deeper and deeper into like, I don't want to call it weirder stuff, but it's like regular doesn't like fulfill it. So then you might look at like weirder things like orgies or like same sex or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing crap out there now. But like, you gonna jump down a weird rabbit hole and you're not going to share that with nobody, even your significant other. So like, if the wife knew he was doing that, what was he really doing behind closed doors? Maybe they still buy Playboy for the articles. Did anybody ever buy it for the articles? Like, that's crazy. Leviticus 18 is where we want to look. Hey, let's pull that up right now. Leviticus 18. Why did 22 pop up? Here we go. Ooh, unlawful. Y'all see this? Unlawful sexual relations. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live, and you must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you. Do not follow their practices. You must obey my laws and be careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and laws, for the person who obeys them will live by them. I am the Lord." Hey, is this the same chapter where Moses went to the top of the mountain and then they was down like at the bottom of the mountain they melted all the gold down to make the calf, and then they started having like wild sex and stuff. Is this the chapter? Or is this what he just telling them not to do? I think this is just where he telling them not to do. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. This is just where he telling them not to do. This was after that? Okay, I got you. I knew it was somewhere in there. I'm getting better. I'm getting better with the memorization. But yeah, this is crazy. Once again, this goes back to literally the Torah. This is in the Torah. So for him to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it was cool, my dad bought this and read this, whatever he was saying. It's like, sir, that goes against everything.
For your father to love your mother and get Playboy, or for your father to say, even though I'm tempted to look at pornography, my wife's body is enough for me, and I'm not going to look at that even though I'm tempted to.
That's a very fair question. I don't have an answer, which will... I should give you the answer you want.
I think you should too.
Yes, that's a good point. You do. I don't know what that means enough. As I said, which bothers, it's funny. There were two groups that it bothers, the very religious and the radical feminist. When I say that men are variety built in, God made male sexual nature as variety oriented. As one, I don't know who put it this way, but one wit put it, a woman loves a man and men love women. Now, I don't want men to go around loving women. I'm totally opposed.
I'm about to say, this is just a red pill talking point right here. Oh, you gotta know the nature of man. It's like, we just love women. We gonna do what we want. That's literally a red pill talking point. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
To that, I am, and insist on my being. It's not even debatable that I am faithful to my wife. It's a given.
Okay.
My wife knows that other women are a turn on. She knows it. It does not bother her. She is.
You saw Matt's face? It's looking like me right now.
She knows it. It does not bother her. She is.
Look at Matt. Matt's so disgusted. He's just like, bro, what are you saying right now? What you talking about? Huh? I'm with you, Matt. I don't know what he talking about. She know I find other women attractive. She just gotta get used to it. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? What is this? Bruh. It gets worse? How we get worse than this? You said curse slap. Some follow the Talmud more than the Torah. No idea if this is the case here. Maybe, because none of this makes sense. It, like you said, it counters what this guy is saying. Oh, you talking about Leviticus? Yeah, it does. Leviticus 18 does counter all of this. That's why this is crazy.
To my luck, I am married to a woman who does not find male sexual nature frightening. Most women do, and by the way, I understand that.
But again, I think we have to make the distinction between sexual arousal and sitting and fantasizing or watching
Actually,
pornography.
they looked at it together.
And if you, well, that's sad too, I think.
Why is it sad?
Because I think pornography is a perversion of the sexual act.
Yeah, well, okay.
Which is holy.
What if they looked,
let me finish. Yep. Which is God's first commandment to humanity. Be fruitful and multiply. It is the most intimate thing two human beings can do together. Not watch The Office, not go for a walk on the beach. It's the fundamental act that brings about the family, which brings about society. I'm of the opinion that if you pervert that fundamental act,
I don't know why
you've perverted the marriage.
Why is it perverted?
Tell him, Matt.
Because it usurps the natural end of sexual intercourse. If I eat food and then force myself to throw up, I'm usurping.
Okay, but I don't think that it's a fair analogy. Let's say they look.
Yes, it is, bruh. Oh, Dennis. Oh, my man. This is where I'm at in this conversation. Because I done lived on both sides of the fence, right? I spent most of my life as an unbeliever. So sex before marriage, all of that. Now I'm a believer and I'm married. I don't understand how Dennis is talking about he grew up in this religious household. First, he grew up. His household was already messed up because they talking about they was religious And he also was openly sexual with the pornography and stuff. Weird. All right. They're going to talk about my daddy. You shouldn't have even known your daddy had it to begin with if that's the life they wanted to live and they was reading it together. Ew. Gross. All right. I don't know what. I never wanted to know what my parents was doing. I'm going to be real with you. But I done lived on both sides of that. Everything Matt said, where he said how God talks about sexual acts, being with one partner, being fruitful and multiplying. Boom, I see all of that now. All right, sex is way different. From this side of the fence, being unreligious and sleeping around. Mind you, I had the smartness to at least use condoms living that life, so I wouldn't have kids out of wedlock and STDs and stuff. There's people not even doing that on this side of the fence. It's disgusting over here, right? This side is more beautiful. The act is way more intimate and loving. You don't need all the extra nonsense to get out. And you're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. It's supposed to happen. How he this old and he don't know this? How's he this old and he don't know this? I don't, look. You said kerslap, Matt won, the old dude get an L? Yes, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Let's say they looked at bathing suit ads, not at Playboy.
Mm-hmm. Why are you looking at that?
They looked at other beautiful women together. And it was okay with my mother. Obviously, the assumption is it was okay with my mother. If it was,
it shouldn't have been okay, bro. That's the issue, and you should know better as an adult. You should know better. All right? You could have grew up in an abusive household and be like, well, my mom was okay with my daddy slapping her around. That don't mean it was okay, bro. Like, you said a bathing suit ad is not porn, though. Your teenage hormones are saying that, so we gonna skip right past what you just said, bro.
Then it's not a good thing. Clearly, I am more worried about men having to hide their nature.
You said depends if it inspires less. I mean, yeah. Most young guys, at least the ones I knew, that was going to inspire all types of them going to the bathroom with that magazine and some lotion. So, I'm just saying. Let's put it out there.
See, when you say God has built into their nature a desire for variety, it sounds like you're saying that therefore it would be unnatural to not look at pornography.
Well, forget the word pornography because it's so loaded. I'm anti-pornography. But if pornography means anything that is arousing, then it could be a bra ad.
Right. I think I could define pornography like this. I could say material which depicts erotic behavior.
Not behavior. There's no behavior in Playboy.
Okay, well...
No, it's not behavior. That's an important distinction.
No, I think when you say behavior, I think you're meaning video or acting out.
No, I didn't. That's why
what do you mean by behavior, then?
No, I don't. I am not advocative of watching sexual behavior.
But I want to know what you mean by the word behavior.
Yeah, what do you mean,
Because if I'm going to say it's...
Sexual activity between two people.
Okay, so even a photograph in Playboy of two people engaging in a...
But there weren't such... You're
opposed to that, but you're okay with a man looking at one naked woman, let's say.
Yes, or they weren't even naked then. They were covered in their privates.
Right.
Bro, stop it. Stop it, my guy. Stop it. I done seen Playboys before. Yes, they was naked. You telling me in the time period he old, but there's no way. There's no way, bro. And I've seen Hef's mansion. It was like after he died and all that, but I've seen the mansion and stuff. Bro, there's no way you're telling me there's no way you're telling me the photos they shot up in there at that time period didn't have anything showing? I don't believe
anything that might be arousing. What if a woman is wearing a regular? What if a man is turned on, which every man is, by an attractive woman in a nice dress? That's a turn on. So no, please answer.
I will.
So is that bad?
I'm going to
with his wife.
I'm going to answer, but let me unfold this a little bit. I think pornography can sometimes be a difficult thing to define. I would say, and let me see if I can redefine it for you: material that depicts. Something that's intended to sexually arouse or replace a prostitute. I mean, the word pornography comes from two Greek words, pornographane, which means the writing or the drawing of the prostitutes. It's meant to serve an erotic function. And
what if the eroticism is then is then
So I'm okay looking
expressed
at
with the wife.
I'm okay looking at breasts. And I'm
This.
okay looking at bums. And
Y'all see this? Dennis gonna sit here and be like, well, it's not what it was when my daddy. Yes, it was. It was all disgusting. It was all disgusting. It was just man, the amount, bro. You know they had teenagers up in there. They had young girls up in that house. It wasn't all grown women just naked. They had teenagers up in there too. That's how that whole industry works. That modeling, you know, they get them girls at 12 and 13. They get them, especially if they done already matured fast, get them in some heels and some makeup. You think they a grown woman. Grown dudes out in Hollywood busting all of them down. And they're kids. It's disgusting. It's all disgusting.
If you go to the Sistine Chapel, you'll see that Catholics are perfectly comfortable with nudity. But I think that nudity can be presented in a way that upholds and expresses the dignity of the person. So I could say, okay, I could look at that and marvel at God's creation and the beauty of woman and the beauty of man. But I think I could also look at a lingerie catalog and, in my mind, treat this person as a mere object. So I would say that in one aspect, I'm okay looking at breasts, let's say, Sistine Chapel. But in another sense, if I'm looking at a lingerie catalog with the intention of lusting, that wouldn't be okay.
What if I'm looking at the lingerie catalog with the intention of getting my wife lingerie?
I think the intention does matter, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We're not that far. I'm not advocating this.
I know you're not.
Hold on, Tyree said Malachi 1, 6-14. Hold on, we're gonna bring this up too. This I gotta leave it on the screen because y'all know I will forget this in a heartbeat. 6-14. I don't know why I was about to do 16-14. That don't even make sense. Here. This right here. Breaking covenant through blemished sacrifices. A son honors his father and a slave his master. If I am a father, where's the honor due me? If I'm a master, where's the respect due me, says the Lord Almighty. It is you, priests, who show contempt for my name, but you ask, how have we shown contempt for your name? By offering defiled food on my altar? But you ask, how have we defiled you? By saying that the Lord's table is contemptible. When you offer blind animals for sacrifice, is that not wrong? When you sacrifice lame or diseased animals, is that not wrong? Try offering them to your governor. Would he be pleased with you? Would he accept you, says the Lord Almighty? Now plead with God to be gracious to us. With such offerings from your hands, he will accept you, says the Lord Almighty. Oh, that one of you should shut the temple doors so that you would not light useless fires on my altar. I am not pleased with you, says the Lord Almighty, and I will accept no offering from your hands. My name will be great among the nations, from where the sun rises to where it sets. In every place, incense and pure offerings will be brought to me, because my name will be great among the nations, says the Lord Almighty. But you profane it by saying the Lord's table is defiled and its food is contemptible, and you say, what a burden, and you sniff at it contemptuously, says the Lord Almighty. When you bring injured, lame, or diseased animals and offer them as sacrifices, should I accept them from your hands, says the Lord. Cursed is the cheat who has an acceptable male in his flock and vows to give it, but then sacrifices a blemished animal to the Lord. For I am a great king, says the Lord Almighty, and my name is to be feared among the nations. Hold on, was that for me? Oh, because he was talking about being covenant. I'm about to slip up how I say this word. Jasmine, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you on back. Hey, I saw you in Gothic Stream today. I saw you doing a little promotion of your channel. I see you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Lambs offered to God were supposed to be spotless, never had a bone broken. This is also why Jesus, the Lamb of God, didn't break a single bone during the crucifixion. So even when they went through the hand and the feet, he didn't break a single bone? I didn't know that. I just learned something. I haven't read Malachi yet. I know y'all's probably waiting for me to be like, and this means I actually haven't read Malachi. Dennis reminds you of those people? Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And I really want that to get. I really want that to come
yes,
through.
it's
here.
very important. But I'm so worried. Remember, I come from the woman calling my show. I saw pictures on my husband's computer. I'm devastated. So what am I supposed to say? You know what? You're right to be devastated. Your husband is a real sinner. He treats you as an object. What would you like me to say to her?
Here's what I'd like.
Hold on. This right here, Kyle, Jorge promotes this. Not all the time, but from time to time, he does mention this.
Like you to say, I think you could. I don't think you have to say. I think I would begin by validating her pain. I wouldn't dismiss it by, and I'm not saying you did this because I haven't heard this sort of phone call, but I wouldn't dismiss it by saying you're wrong to be hurt. I would say there are many things out there that your husband, I'm sure, loves you very much. And,
well, that's my first question to her.
And you're right.
Does he love you, and is he loving, and do you have a good love life?
And so those are all the good things.
If the answers are all yes, go on.
So if the answers are all yes, I would say, well, since he loves you, and since this bothers you, there are some excellent resources that I'd love to tell you about that could help him be free of pornography. Because surely you would say, if a man is looking at pornography and his wife's heartbroken, you're not saying, well, she's wrong to be and he doesn't need to change. If she's heartbroken, wouldn't you want to say to the man, here are some ways that you could quit?
Yes, I would want to say to both of them,
oh no.
I understand why you're heartbroken, because you think that he loves her more than you or as much as you, and I want you to know that's not the case at all.
I don't know if that's the only reason she'd be heartbroken. I don't think it's that she loves... I think that pornography trains us in selfishness.
Okay. All right. Yes, so...
It does.
It also
all right, again,
legitimizes...
what if he says to her, well, look, you saw lingerie ads, and I'm dying to buy you some really cute lingerie. Would you be okay with that?
I would say that we're verging on what's sometimes called the fallacy of the beard. You ever...
What that got to do with anything? Are you also lusting over the women in the lingerie ads? Or are you just like, this look cool on my wife, let me go get this? Like, what are we talking about right now? What does that have to do with the other? Thank you, Deborah. She would feel inadequate. That's all he had to say. That's not Matt. Dennis. I don't know what's going on with Dennis. These answers are wild. Thank you, sorry. The marriage on earth is supposed to prep us for marriage to Jesus. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm just realizing when we fixed all my cameras and stuff, I am not looking the same way I used to look. Because it doesn't look like I'm looking towards the screen now. I gotta fix this. Does your shirt say MAGA? Yes, it does, sir. Make America godly again. Hold on, we got it. What is this? Hold on. Intro, stop. Calm down. We played you already. Make America godly again from Bryson Gray. Woo. MAGA. That's the true MAGA. Just to let y'all know, that's the true MAGA. God tells Israel how they play the harlot and he gets frustrated with them. Facts. Trunks, I know Trunks, he ran in here and he threw the stuff. Why is this not working? Why is my chat overlay not working? Wait a minute. What's happening? My system is breaking. Everything's breaking. Uh-oh. Did everything really stop working? That's wild. All right, well. There it is. Look, y'all. We just gonna go back. I was just trying to show the hoodie and my whole system broke. I can't believe this. We just gonna go back to the video.
Ever heard of this? Just because you don't know when something begins, it doesn't mean you can't say what a thing is. This isn't a beard. But in 3 months, if I didn't shave, it would be. And just because you don't know when it started doesn't mean you can't say what a beard is. And I would say that there are blurry lines. I would agree with you.
It probably is.
Like a Victoria's Secret fashion show. Is that pornography? I'd say probably. What about, but is it less bad than other forms of pornography? Yes. Not all pornography is equal. Some pornography can be far more wretched than others.
We're really not that far apart.
Y'all are pretty far apart.
One of my biggest teachings is that there are levels of sin and there are levels of good. Mm-hmm. And that we should not Listen, I don't think this is not.
First off, we already wrong, bro. You said it was levels of sin. Sin is the same in the eyes of God. Adultery, murder, that's like the same playing field to him. It may not be to us because we're humans, and of course we would be like, what? Cheating on my wife ain't the same as me murdering somebody. It's the same to God, bro. I can't believe you just say that.
It's not a Catholic thing, but many Protestants who listen to my show take issue with me when I say that God does not regard stealing a stapler from the office as he does child molestation.
Right.
And they
It's the
call
same,
me up
bro.
and say, Dennis, love you, but I got to tell you, a sin is a sin.
Thank you.
No,
Hey.
we would part ways with that.
I know you would. Yes, I
Protestant
know. I
brethren who
said
would say
Catholics
that.
do not.
Yeah.
Catholics and Jews believe in gradations of sin. Correct.
So
Okay, so there are gradations in that arena as well.
Yes. But I would say that just because something is less bad than something else, it doesn't make it good. So if you're
Okay,
saying
I'm
to
not
the,
arguing it's good.
So if you
I'm
say to the-
arguing it's not.
Oh, Kyle said as a Catholic, I would disagree. Murder is far worse than stealing a stamp. I mean, I would agree with you on a human level. Now, I guess that is where we would be off. Because he did say Protestants would call him up and say that, and I am Protestant. Okay. We would be off on that together. But I could have sworn in the Bible it did, well, you Catholic. It don't matter what I say. We about to be off on that. You think petty theft is less bad? Hey. God says it's the same, tech boy.
It's not as bad,
Right.
As
Hey, bro, I'm
people
gonna have to
often
kick
make
you
it
up out
out
of
to
my
be.
Twitch
I
chat
am
because
not
that ain't
arguing that
happening
it's good.
around here.
What
I don't know
in
how to
an
kick him out
ideal
from here.
marriage would my father not have subscribed to Playboy? I'll be prepared to say yes. However,
Look at you. Good job.
yes, yeah,
Thank you.
but it doesn't gain you as much as you think, because I saw their relationship for I didn't see it for 72 years, obviously, but I saw it for the
Right.
bulk of their life, and
I'm not making
the
the claim.
respect with which he treated
Yes,
her.
I'm sure he did. I'm not making the claim that you have pure, pristine, holy marriage and haven of filth. I'm not
Right.
saying that those are your only
so
two
there is-
options.
right, okay, so fine, so there are
Right.
degrees.
But if you're saying to the woman,
Yeah.
better for him to look at porn than to commit adultery, then what I would say there is, it might be less bad, all things being equal,
Right.
but less bad doesn't make it good.
Right.
And if adultery can be analogized to shooting your marriage in the head, I would say pornography is the slow poisoning of it, and that there's a great deal of research that would
Okay.
go to back that up.
Yes, well,
In fact, Dennis, I'm going to get your book on Exodus. I promise to look at it. This is my book on pornography. It's a non-religious response to pro-porn
yeah,
arguments.
I'll be very happy to read it.
And I'll sign it so it'll be worth more in the garage sale one day. But there's no talk of sin. There's no scripture verses. It's all based on the 40...
Dennis' reaction was like, bro, I'm not reading your book. Matt tried to make that joke, and he was just like, he was like, bro, he not reading that.
plus years of science that's coming out of academia, from neuroscience,
So here's the
sociology.
question. Okay, so you see, the reason I actually never talk about pornography. He asked me, you were asking me.
This is your
I
new-
never do.
You said it's called the porn myth. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to go back just a smidge so we can see it. He
Of
held
sin,
it up
there's no
around here.
scripture verses. It's all based on the 40 plus years of science. Look at it. This is my book on pornography.
Boom, the porn myth right here. So y'all can see it. If y'all want to go order this, I don't know if Matt has like a website that it's on, but probably on Amazon. It's always going to be on Amazon. They're going to take a fee if you buy it that way. But I will see if Matt got a website first. I will see if he got a website first. All right, we're going to pop back this
Reason
way.
I actually never talk about pornography. He asked me, you were asking me.
This is your
I
new-
never do. I certainly don't advocate it. I don't
Y'all
even
see
discuss
this?
it, let alone advocate it. But it was asked, and I
love how we all on the
I
same
sort of
page
took a
about
vow
stuff.
many years ago. I won't avoid questions.
Yeah.
I wish I had known in advance it would be discussed. I would have said how much I'm horrified by the pornification of society, etc.
Hey, do y'all see this? Kyle said that book. Matt doesn't even keep the money. All profits go to trafficking victims in San Diego. Oh. That's the level I'm trying to get to. That's what I be doing with all the donations and super chats. It's like, I don't even keep that. All of that goes to whatever charity project we're doing. But I'm trying to do that with everything. I'm trying to have enough money where I can just do that with all the stuff. Love it. I love it. That's awesome. Haley, welcome to the stream. You not late. You're on time. You always on time. No such thing as being well. Let me hold on. Let me rewind. There is such things as being late, but never to the stream. You're never late to the stream.
But we, I want to. We're on so.
How much do you have to pay for a sponsorship? You can get it for free, bro. I already done played your stuff for free. You done got free sponsorship out of me a bazillion times. I want the big company's money. All right? Where's Jorge? Jorge would be the main one up in here hyping me up. He'd be like, yo, we need the Halo app. We need the such and such app. We need Glorify. We need all this. I want that money. That's the money where I keep most of it. You know what I'm saying? But all this other stuff, y'all stuff will get donated. Y'all stuff will get donated.
So many different related but different tracks, and it's a very important subject.
Ooh, you was making bread? What bread you was making? That's the cook in me talking. You can ignore it.
Oh, yes. I was influenced by my parents' marriage.
Obviously.
We're all influenced by our parents' marriage. If you see your father beat your mother, you think that's normal, and you end up beating your wife.
Facts. You're not making bread right unless your arms hurt. Or the cheat code to this is you get like an actual mixer or the actual bread maker where you really ain't got to do nothing. That's the cheat code to it. You make a sandwich bread? Nice.
Of course,
nice.
My father, the thought that he would ever lift it, he wouldn't. It's so inconceivable to me. All he did was tell his sons how much he loved their mother.
He did.
Constantly.
He did. You disagree?
So what I saw was a man got Playboy and loved his wife for 72 years. She knew he got Playboy and loved her husband and knew he loved her for 72 years.
You just repeat yourself now, Dennis.
That's what I saw. And I'm not going to sit here as their child and say, this was really awful. When I can't say it because I would be lying. But if you ask me, is there an ideal? I will argue, okay, there is an ideal. But the human condition is messy. Yeah. So back to our earlier question, where we differ on can a loving husband in the bedroom ever see his wife as a sex object? And I said that's good.
There you go, Haley. There you go.
See, that's there. Finally, we have a real difference. I actually think that is a positive.
I don't know if we do have a disagreement. If by sex object you mean you find your wife sexually desirable.
I don't know what the difference is. What's the difference?
I think this is what I would say, right? A subject, like man is made and man makes his own ends, right? Slavery is wrong because we take a man who makes his own ends and would like to fulfill them. When I talk about objectification, I guess I'm talking about a sort of evacuation of the subject of the person. I'm not concerned about her. I'm not concerned about her.
You draw an inference that I'm not implying.
And that's why I say I don't know if we're disagreeing.
We may not. That would be great to resolve it. I'm totally happy with that if that happens. How you treat her is not that you will treat her badly. The moment women don't say, I'm crazy about my husband's legs. Okay, but a man may not say it. Well, that's true. Fair enough. Okay, I admit. I'll ask your wife. Okay.
Right. Hold on. Before he gets into this, Jasmine said it's one of those debates that really highlights the significance of Jews not believing in Jesus as the Messiah. It's almost irreconcilable. Y'all know what I mean. Because Jesus is not his authority. Facts. That's facts. Because it's like, sir, I don't even know what's happening right here. His examples just keep getting worse. And then he'd be like, I've watched my father get Playboy and love my mom for like all these years. So it's okay. It's like, nah, bro. Nah.
But every man thinks that way if there's a part of her body that is particularly a turn on, to use the term, to him. That is objectification. Women don't do that. Women don't, young women do. Oh, he's got a great butt.
By objectification, do you mean I find a part of my wife's body that I find attractive sexually?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, I suppose that for me, objectification means...
That's objectification? Thinking your spouse is hot? And in certain parts of them, it's just like, ooh, yeah. That's how... I mean, that's your... They gonna be cool with it. Just they would do the same thing to you. All right.
Means...
Look what Tyree just said, which is what I said in the very beginning of this video, because I was just like, I don't understand what he's talking about, because like the first five, within the first 5 books, what they believe as adultery is what we believe as adultery. You know what I'm saying? Veritas, hey, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. But look what Tyree just said. We keep going through this. I pulled up Hosea 2 in the Tanakh, and it's the same. Even pulling up the Old Testament, there is plenty that goes against his justification. So he just want to do what he wants at this point. That's all Dennis wants to do. I don't understand. Matt dominated this, yes. Matt is just slowly going like, let me show you how stupid you are, bro. But I'm gonna be very nice about it so far. Yeah, this stuff is in Jewish law, right? Because you got it. That's crazy that you got this on Saturday and we talking about this today. Prager sounds like he puts sex before God. He does. And you already know it. Hey. Only because of y'all. To get back into baking, loving who you are baking for does make food better. It does. You feel that love in the home cooking. It's just something about it makes it taste so good.
Sort of subordinating the good...
Hold on, pause, time out. I understand Prager's point. He is making some sense. Once again, your life experience is like this big. You think he is not. I promise you he's not. Bro, I used to play on that side of the fence. I'm telling you, it's different from this side of the fence. It completely is.
Of my wife to a selfish pleasure.
You have drawn a behavioral inference from a thought, and I don't.
Yeah. But see, I still am not convinced that this sharp distinction, or the distinction, because I've heard Ben Shapiro say something similar, and so I don't know if this is, as you say, more a behaviorist, kind of a Jewish idea. Because I think he said something like, I don't really care if you have racist thoughts, I care about how you act.
That's right. I said that to the group tonight. I don't care if people dislike Jews, I care how they treat us.
But if my son or daughter...
I know, you're right. I would tell the same to my child. If my child said, I don't like this group.
But I think this is what our Lord Jesus Christ is doing, in which he's saying, your righteousness has to pass that of the Pharisees. It's not enough that you don't murder. You should not want to. It's not enough that you don't commit adultery. You should not fuel the flame that could lead to that.
I happen to think it's a good thing not to want to murder. I subscribe to that. But there's a very interesting Hebrew phrase. I'm translating from the Hebrew, so it'll be a bit awkward. In the place that a penitent stands, the most righteous person doesn't stand. And I extrapolate from that if you have bad thoughts and don't act on them, you're on a higher moral plane than the guy who never has a bad thought. I don't get any credit for not molesting children. Right. I'm as interested in children sexually as I am in bananas or peach trees. Okay? So I get no credit for not molesting a child. But the sick dude who does want to and doesn't, he gets a lot of credit.
So, speaking of
okay, this is weird, because what he just said is about to tumble back into like one of the first videos I ever reacted to on my channel, is where Hunter Avalon was advocating for pedophiles, right? How we should look at them different or some crap. It was weird. What he just said, where he was just like, we should give the pat on the back to the person that wants to molest a kid but doesn't. First off, that's a weird thought to have. But like Hunter, I remember in that video, Hunter was like full on some like, we should applaud that and be happy they're not doing that and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, yeah, bro, but that's still weird. That's such a weird example. Oh man. Yeah, okay, Kyle's like, here it is. This is
Ophelia.
or some crash
Suppose
sequel.
a man says,
Look.
I view animated child porn. So there's no real victim in that sense.
Right.
This is a thing. This is a thing. I want y'all to know this, especially in was hentai? Was yaoi? I think that's what the two guys do it. There's literally a child porn, but it's called Pika or Puka, something like that. It's called something like that. It's supposed to simulate two I don't know how old they are, like 12 or something. They're kids. It's supposed to be two young boys. One dresses up like a girl though, and it looks like a girl, but it's a dude. I promise you it's a dude. And it's just them doing it. It's animated. You're not really watching real children do it, but it's animated children. That's still child. That's weird. That's still messed up in a sense. You know what I'm
Child
saying?
pornography, which we both agree is horrendous.
Yeah,
and by
that is,
viewing
like-
animated child porn, it prevents me from acting out sexually on a child. Now, I
But
deny
it's
that. I
still-
think that pornography
it's still child.
inflames us to then want to act those fantasies out, and I think there's good studies that back that up. But surely you wouldn't say to the man who views animated child pornography, that's not bad so long as you don't act it out. Wouldn't you want to help this poor sick dude?
Yes, I would, but I'm thrilled that he's not acting it out. I mean,
Agreed.
Okay,
Of course.
Yeah, but you still want to help them. Like, they need some help, bro. Because that's going to lead down a rabbit hole of
Well, that's big.
Yeah.
We're both thrilled that he might have a poor substitute, but it is a substitute if that were the case. No child is being used.
Yeah.
It's all
until a child is used.
animated.
Yeah.
And he
But
is,
would you use the word evil of animated child pornography? Because I certainly would.
No, I would use evil only with behavior. That's where we might differ,
Yeah.
forgetting the sex issue. You can't be evil.
It's porn at the end of the day. You're opening up a wormhole because, like I said in the very beginning, once you start down that rabbit hole of porn, it only satisfies you for so long. And then you go into something deeper and then deeper and then deeper until that no longer scratches that itch. Until you just like, you know what? I might do it. And then you think on it long enough until you do it. There's been so many studies. This dude sound crazy. Yep, confirm and reconfirm, not a fan of the humans. You funny, KO. You funny. A student at my school, whoa, viewed the real deal and not the animated. Whoa, hey, whoa, ugh, gross, ugh. Hey y'all, hey Sang, welcome back. Hey, thank you, King Sang. I appreciate you. Ever since you got married, you've changed for the better. Dang, it's been a week. I changed that much in a week. I'll take it though. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate you. Evil is very real. Yes, it is. Very real. The look on Matt's face is the look of a man trying not to blow a gasket. Look at this. Matt's looking at him like, bro, you sick. What are you talking about right now? You
didn't do evil if you thought evil. You did evil
if I'm
if you
masturbating
committed.
to animated pictures of pornography, I'm not doing something evil.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's
that's evil,
despicable.
bro. That's evil. That's evil. All right. It's one thing if you come across something in your rabbit hole of porn and you're trying to find a video and you come across something weird and you just be like, what's this? And you scroll through and you be like, and you just never go back, right? That's one thing. It's another thing to look at it and be like, ugh. But then like you keep it playing and you just be like, ugh. And just no, that's evil. No, that's evil. I can't. Oh no, that's evil. That's evil. I can't really find anything in the Old Testament that talks about controlling one's thoughts. I have no idea. That's something we would probably have to do a deep dive of a Bible study or something. Got questions? Said, oh, you're talking about the website. Said it's wrong? Because it is wrong. At this point in the conversation, Thursday was messaging me. I want to die. Oh, because, yeah, he'd be in the studio doing all this. Oh, I couldn't even imagine being in here without talking. You would have heard me behind the camera. I would have been like, ugh. They would have been like saying, just, we might as well mic you up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Who is being hurt? You have to have a victim.
Oh, I'll tell you, there's at least 2 people being hurt.
Who's being
There's the
hurt?
person who's poisoning himself by
Yes,
encouraging
yes,
him to
you're right.
think,
I don't
acting out
want-
on
okay.
children. And there's also
So
the
wait.
animator.
Okay, wait a minute. We both are aching for him not to have those fantasies. I agree with you, but
you won't call it evil.
I won't call a fantasy evil.
Yeah.
There's too
It
much
is.
real evil on earth for me to start being preoccupied with people's thinking.
It is,
It's
bro.
not just thinking.
I told y'all I used to play on that side of the fence. Like, I used to be like, oh, like, I think about killing this person I'm working with, but I'm not killing them, so it's alright. No, it's still evil. I had some pretty bad thoughts about people before. It doesn't make it right. It's still evil. It's weird he doesn't understand that, though, at his big age of 70-something. So, in defense of Prager, he agrees with Matt prima facie on almost all of Matt's points. Yeah, he says that, and then he goes on to say some wild stuff. I could tell Matt was, I can't cuss, was angry through at this exact moment because he let Prager interrupt him on a very important point.
It's him masturbating to
Yes,
images of
okay.
children.
So that the real question about the whole pornography issue is not pornography; it's masturbation. There is a Catholic tradition.
I disagree.
And
What?
It's both.
What?
I think both masturbation is evil, but I think pornography is a
Okay, so I don't
greater
think
evil, I would say.
masturbation is evil. Okay, that's. And by the way, I admit that within Orthodox Judaism, there is. When I was a counselor at Orthodox Jewish camp, the kids were told by some of their rabbis that masturbation is like murder, and there was that. There was also that. There's a statement
I
like
certainly
that.
wouldn't make that statement.
Okay, I do believe that in Catholic theology there is.
No,
there is.
no. There's no Catholic is saying that murder is equivalent to masturbation.
Okay, all right.
You might
good,
say that
good.
both are grave sins, but you wouldn't say that masturbation is a
Right.
graver sin. Even within murder, patricide would be a graver sin than killing a stranger.
Since we both believe murder is always wrong, except obviously self-defense is killing, not
Sure.
murder. So murder is always wrong.
Hey.
Child molestation is always wrong. Is masturbation always wrong? What about a man whose wife, and I had this example. Now you may say, well, if you take an extreme example, it's not fair. But if you say always, I have to take a real life example
That's
of a
okay.
man I knew
Okay.
who adored his wife. I knew them when they were both well. She got Alzheimer's at a very early age in her 50s, and he dressed her and bathed her and cleaned her up for a decade. And if this man, with a wife who no longer recognized him, masturbated to get rid of his sexual tension and stayed to take care of his wife, you would say that was evil?
I would, because I think that evil is the way things shouldn't be. And I think the sexual act exists for union, and to masturbate is to thwart the end of that natural act. I also think that what we haven't taken into account yet is an industry that brutalizes women, that's often involved in trafficking women.
Oh, that's why I said I'm against all of that. I'm on your side on that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was talking about pictures, still pictures of models.
Yes.
Okay,
but I'm still saying that this brutalizes women. I think it's like what
Okay.
woman would you like him to look at? Like you.
I mean, it does. It objectifies women at the end of the day. And it's weird because Dennis was like, oh, only radical feminists and blah, blah, blah. First off, the feminists today they'd be like, oh yeah, OnlyFans is great, blah, blah, blah. So that's a weird thing to put that on. But it objectifies women at the end of the day. You're looking at some woman who doesn't look like the average woman. She's like half naked or full naked in certain poses, and you're just lusting after her. It's like, it's still wrong, bro. Like, there's no way you can make that right and be like, it's okay, the wife cool with it. She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be cool with that. I don't. Tech Boy, what are you talking about? If somebody threatens you to murder someone or they kill your family, is it wrong? What is it with these weird questions, bro? So you telling me somebody threatened me, they'd be like, hey, kill somebody or I'll murder your family. Where do you get these? Where are these scenarios coming from? These are the, you just be picking up stuff. You said the Babylon people, I said P, the Babylon. The Babylon Bee put out an article. Dennis Prager says that porn didn't have a negative effect on any of his 3 marriages. Yo, I saw that and I still didn't read it. And I should have. That was on Twitter. A large portion of the porn videos out there, one or both actors are dead from tragic situations. Yeah, most porn stars commit suicide. Like, there's actually a study on that I saw like a couple months back. It's tragic, but like, it's not shocking. Like, your whole life is just being like, you're laying on your, well, if the perspective of a woman or a gay guy, I guess, because it's porn, like, you're laying on your back and multiple people are just in you. Like, that's your life, right? All you're seen as is an object when you go to like these like porn festivals, or what's it called, a convention, a porn convention. Do you know there's a woman or 2 women, like literally, they set the record for most partners in a certain amount of time at a sex convention, because they both just laid on a table and the dudes was just lined up with their pants down. It's disgusting. And each one was just, they did like maybe 2 or 3 pumps and then got out, and then the next person 2 or 3 pumps. Disgusting. Like, they feel dehumanized. They lose intimacy. They're numb at that point. I've heard male porn stars talk about that in interviews before, where they be like, yeah, I done lost all feeling. It's numb. Like, it's, and you know, it, like a director is like, hey, at some point you gotta come. They can't. Like, it's it's done for them at that point. Like, their all feeling is done. And then on top of that, a lot of the videos on them sites is from people that was trafficked. So not only are you watching actual stars, like Hagley said, they probably dead at this point because they off themselves. So you're watching somebody that's more than likely not even around. You might also be watching somebody that's being trafficked before being murdered. Like, that don't want to be there to begin with. It's all disgusting. It's all disgusting. But you know, coming up in the world, in the secular world, that's why you got to separate yourselves from the world. Everybody be trying to make it seem like porn is okay and it's cool and whatnot. And it's like, oh, it's just something to watch. And, oh, me and my partner watch it together and blah, blah, blah. No. It's all bad. It's all bad. He probably shouldn't be watching this part. All right, Tech Boy, that's your warning. Now, I ain't with you, so I don't know if you're going to leave or not, but that is your warning. Oh, she said, go talk to your mama. Hey, I'm glad Haley put that out there, because I have not watched this. Look at Kay. Tonight's stream has been entertaining and educational. Nothing weird at all. I already knew it was going to be weird, because we talking about sex. Yup, slippery slope. Snuff film's been around for a long time, forever at this point. Well, not forever. Y'all know it. Y'all know what we talking about.
Your wife, your daughter, my daughter. Would you be comfortable with someone you know and love being looked at like that? I wouldn't.
No, but you're using you're bringing the emotional.
I would say you're doing that. I think you're doing that when you use this story.
So
I would not deny that this is a virtuous man in many respects, laudable, who I could learn a great deal from.
Right, but no, you use the word evil. That's
right.
Okay, you define evil in a way I don't.
The way things shouldn't be, I would say. I would refer to natural evil. So if a man is born blind, this is a natural evil. If a stone is blind, this is not a natural evil. But I would also refer to moral evil as this is the way things shouldn't be. So we disagree on that.
Okay, yes, so I'm trying to think.
Look at Matt's face. Look at Matt's face.
Okay. It shouldn't be that kids spend as much time as they do on social media. Do we both agree with that they spend too much time?
Where are you going?
Yes.
Would you call it evil if they did spend too much time?
Probably
Yeah,
yes.
it's gonna rock
Okay,
the
And then
boat.
I wouldn't. I would
have
say
to
it was
think about
wrong,
it.
but I wouldn't say it was evil.
Yeah. So I've shared with you how I define evil. How do you define
is
it?
the deliberate infliction of hurt on another human being.
So I would say that pornography involves the deliberate infliction of hurt on another human being through the photographing of a person.
So that
and that would
include lingerie models.
Again, I'm not sure. I don't have I don't know
Men
where
are
to
as
draw that
capable
line.
of masturbating to lingerie models as they are to awful stuff.
Right. So what I think the goal should be is to line up the goal of the artist or the photographer and the goal and the intention of the viewer with the dignity of the human person. Because I can view something non-pornographic and say masturbate to it.
Right.
The problem isn't with the thing I'm looking at. The problem's with me. Likewise,
That is true. That is true. Because there's people that get off to some weird things. Like the guy that was in love with his car and he got off to like kissing and touching his car, or the people, what is it? The balloons, the little blow up animals and stuff. So Matt's not wrong. You got some sick people out there like that. So it doesn't have to always be just like half naked, whatever, in porn. You got weird stuff like that too.
Likewise, I could look through a pornographic magazine and feel nothing but pity for these women who don't know their dignity. In that case, objectively, it's pornography, but subjectively, it isn't for me.
Right.
So I think you want both to line up with the dignity of the human person created in the image and
wanting
likeness of
to
God.
line up with dignity is totally admirable. Calling the non-lining up, is a lingerie model losing her dignity? And you may say yes.
Yeah, I think I would say yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But again, I want to make a huge distinction between these gradations.
Well, and so do I.
Something can
that's
be
why
far
it's
less
not.
bad
That's
than
why I don't
something
want
else.
to. When people say pornography, they're thinking of the most awful behaviors.
Well, let me ask you this then, because it sounded like you were saying that if a man views pornogaphy and thereby doesn't commit adultery, it's okay.
No, I didn't say okay. I said it wasn't awful.
Not horrible. Fair enough.
Right.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
But you've also said that you're very much opposed to violent pornography, obviously. If a man says, I need to watch violent pornography so I don't commit adultery, do you say, well, okay, that's less bad too? Or do you condemn that with a greater severity?
Well, because the odds are that the people in it are being hurt.
What if they're willing to be hurt? What if they enjoy being hurt?
So I more or less subscribe to your vision of the issue. But again, I want to remind everybody watching or listening that my vision was of Playboy of the 1960s when I was a teenager, which would be regarded today as
not even worthy of Netflix.
Yes,
I mean, what we
right.
once called hardcore, we now call softcore.
Yes, okay. So
what we once called softcore, we now call Netflix.
But I have to ask you and many others who feel as you do, and I respect it. Is everything? Well, I did ask you. I mean, once you say masturbation under all circumstances is evil, that I will admit we part company.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, we knew we would disagree.
Yes, that's fine.
And there's also a lot of things we agree about.
By the way,
things we disagree
there was
about.
one, I don't want to say his name.
Before he gets into that, Kyle said, I really like how Matt brings up the obvious good things that Dennis believes. He's very obviously not just trying to paint him as a monster. Yeah, he also has to be a good podcast host, because I'm pretty sure this wasn't the whole conversation of them talking. So it's like, you got this guy here, it'd be awkward. You know, you got to kind of smooth it out so you can have at least leave on a better playing field together. Some of the YouTube commercials are kind of gross and sad. I'm just gonna believe what you're saying, because I have a ad blocker on, so I don't see the commercials. But you're probably right. You're probably right. Do they shake hands at the end, and is their hand sanitized? Yikes! Blow shots.
Because I may be wrong, but I believe there was one major evangelical leader. I mean, major. He was a household name for a while.
Dobson, I think.
Oh, so
might
you
be
do know what
referring
I'm
to.
referring to.
I don't want to misspeak here.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday you can look this up, but I believe Dobson at one point justified masturbation in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
See, what I respect about you and what I respect about Jordan Peterson is that very often you tell us to take the hard road. You're like, yes, it's bloody hard, but be a man. Like, rise up. Choose the harder path. Choose the more virtuous path. I just wish that you or Peterson would be more emphatic when it comes to sexual sins, that of course you're tempted to it. Of course you want to do it. What's interesting isn't why people masturbate to pornography. That's obvious. What's interesting is why people decide they don't want to.
Again,
why not encourage them?
Don't throw in the word pornography. You masturbate alone is a sin to you and evil.
That's correct.
What if he's masturbating to an image he makes up in his brain?
If he's masturbating to nothing, I would consider it an evil.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
You still have to think of something and make
Dobson?
it up.
Dr. James Dobson in about 1987. The quote appears to be, "It is my opinion that masturbation is not much of an issue with God. It's a normal part of adolescence. Indeed, Jesus did not mention it, ...
Jesus didn't mention a lot of things.
Well, yeah, but it's not insignificant, nor does the Hebrew Bible talk about it. The spilling of seed with Onan, from which we get onanism, the sin was not that he spilled the seed. The sin was that he didn't have intercourse with his brother's widow.
So, the Catholic would say that reason would show us that masturbation is disordered, that pornography is disordered, because it takes a natural act which is good and it thwarts the end of it. That's why I use the example
What about a man who can't attract a woman? He should spend his life, obviously, then.
Yes, because masturbation is not like urination. It's not something you need to do or else you're going to become neurotic and die.
Did he just say you should masturbate if you can't attract a woman? First off, there's things a guy can do, and he can easily get a woman. Like, if you're going to go ahead and be an incel, and I really don't like using that term, but the way I'm about to use it is correct. It's like, if you're just going to sit in your house all day and complain about women and not go anywhere or not try to better yourself, then no, you shouldn't be. Like, it's very easy. Like, leave your house and be productive and go do something. You're going to run into a woman that's going to be interested and want to talk to you. I promise you. All right? I know the whole red pill thing is like, get in the gym, get jacked, get money, women will love you. It's like, yeah, maybe a certain type of woman. But for most guys, okay, for most men, just go out into the world and just do something. And some woman is going to be like, hey, he's kind of cute or cool, and they're going to start talking to you, all right? I literally know a guy he's a loser, all right? He's a drug addict. He doesn't work, complete loser. And some chick that finally got her life together, and she liked him because he showed her a little bit of attention. It's not that hard for guys to find a woman. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Can I listen now? I missed you for a week and now this. Yeah, Tech Boy, yeah, you can listen. You can listen, Tech Boy. Put your headphones back on.
Somehow. You're not going to find anybody in the morgue with a tag on their toe that says virgin or something.
All right.
And I think it's a pornified culture that's given us this idea.
The ideal life would involve none of this. I am not preoccupied with the ideal life. I am preoccupied with a good life. As I often say, I am not interested in making saints. I am interested in making good people. And it is so hard to make good people in a post-communist, post-Nazi world, post-Islamic, it's not post yet, Islamic terrorist world.
Luca Hallelujah just wrote, go to the Middle East or India. I have seen some really disabled individuals who find wives in these countries. Facts. There's people here. There's a dude I saw, dude was missing a part of his head or face, had a whole fiance. Another dude didn't even have body parts. He was out surfing and skateboarding, had a wife. Like, there's no way you could tell me, what if a guy can't get a woman? I bet you can. Like, you need to just get out of your house. Some woman will be attracted, I promise to you. Like, you can be in shape, out of shape, fresh, stanky, some girl gonna want you, I promise you. Okay?
I admit I am preoccupied with real evil, rather than non-idyllic behavior.
Yeah.
I admit it. That's where
and
I
maybe
am.
to clarify my thought, which might make it more acceptable to you, I would say that there are circumstances in which masturbating or even looking at pornography could be a less grave sin due to habit, due to immaturity. But see, even in secular culture, we make fun of masturbation. We don't seem to be proud of masturbation. Even atheists, there's this big move to stop being a cream puff and masturbating into a sock, and instead of that, control your sexual desire. You're not a dog to be neutered. You're someone who has mastery over your lower passions. So I have a desire for food, but if I eat like a pig, then this is going to be bad for my health, and this would be the sin of gluttony. I could have the desire to masturbate.
But the difference is you can eat. The
yes,
man
but
who cannot have any sex.
No, you're equating orgasm with eating, and it's not the same thing.
It's
you
not.
did.
No, you're saying that I'm equating them to show that they're dissimilar in that if I don't eat, I die. But it sounds like what you're saying is, well, but the man who never has a woman, surely he should masturbate, or else what? And I'm saying he's not going to die.
He's not going to die.
Right. And I think the man should have mastery over that passion and use it appropriately.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
what I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Ideally, I agree with you.
So
By the way, that's important that I said that.
Okay,
I
say it
do.
again.
Ideally. But as I said, like in the case of marriages, I want them to love each other. And by the way, let me just, this is not utterly germane to our debate here, but having spoken to so many couples for so many years, I have a phrase which is related to this, but not exactly this, but related. You should make love outside the bedroom and have sex inside the bedroom.
I love it. But I think I know what you mean.
I'm glad you love it.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
If I'm ignoring my wife, if I'm not doing acts of kindness towards her throughout the day, then
Right, you can't
to
make up
expect
for
to
it in the
come
bedroom.
together and be intimate in that most intimate of embraces is selfish. But I want to love my bride throughout the day, sacrifice for her, as it were.
Right, but what no, I'm saying more than that.
Okay.
That, of course, I'm saying that, but I am saying more than that. I'm also saying that the bedroom might be a place for the non-holy to express itself, because I believe we're created in God's image and animal's image, and if the sex allows the animal under.
Hold on, what did he just say? The first part made sense. We created God's image, and then he said we created an animal's image. I know I didn't hear that right. There's no way I heard that right, because that sounded stupid.
Holy to express itself, because I believe we're created in God's image,
right,
an animal's image, and if the sex allows the animal under holy circumstances, which is matrimony.
Look at Matt's face. Matt's just like, what'd you just say? What was that?
Jews and Catholics. That the word
you
for
called it KO,
for
man. Look,
marriage in Hebrew, kiddushin, means holy. I mean, that is the whole Talmudic volumes on marriage and sex is called kiddushin, which means kadosh is, many Catholics know, means holy. So Shmuley Boteach is a bearded Orthodox rabbi. I don't know if you're familiar with him. No. And he wrote a book called Kosher Sex. His argument is as follows, and he's very anti-porn, very. His argument is anything that the married couple, agrees to in the bedroom, they should do. That's the place, and that's why he calls it kosher sex. It wasn't, by the way, universally received well among some religious Jews. Your views are not all that different from many Orthodox Jews.
Why was he opposed to pornography?
For the same.
you said sounds like Nephilim. Y'all should sign up for Matt's Locals. He did a debrief on this afterwards. I'm gonna have to sign up for it. God made man after the animals, but we weren't made in animals' image though. We were made in God's image. God never said in the Bible we was made after him and the animal's image as well.
Reasons you are.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching that clip. If you want to watch the entire...
That was it. Hold on. Dennis, my guy. That's crazy. He said a lot of crazy things for a guy who's been married like a bazillion times, but maybe that's why he was married a bazillion times. Oh, you agree? Okay. I didn't. That was all right, Ben Shapiro. Okay, let's do that first. So you said Ben Shapiro responded to this. So let's go there. So Ben Shapiro, Matt Fradd. He said what? Responding to Ben Shapiro, responding to me, you're welcome. I feel like I should just pull that because I don't know where Ben's is. Yeah, okay, well that's the first thing that popped up, so let's do that. Let's do that. Can we just read not the B now, please? Tech Boy, we're gonna do all this first. We're gonna do all this first. You thought that was behind a paywall? Well, it has Matt reacting to it on his channel, so we can do that. Can you post that 2-minute video I sent you first? Oh, when I was off? Because I don't think you sent me anything new. Is Twitter working? Because Twitter, desktop Twitter, has been all over the place today. Okay, it looks like I can access it. Okay, yeah, we'll play this real quick. This is only 2 minutes long. Or not even. This is not even 2 minutes long. All right, y'all. Tyree sent this to me one of the days I was off. Matt got permission to use the footage for his response. Bet. So we just gonna watch Matt's video because that means then technically I got permission and they better not trip out on me. If they do, I'm gonna be like, Ben, you're gonna hire me one day. How dare you, sir? All right, but Tyree sent this to me. So look up here. You see how there's a blank spot here and there's a blank spot here and here. Just pay attention. All right, so Noctism. Eve, this paradise is a lie, made by an off-brand god to keep you down, girl. Take this Gnostic knowledge to see and smash the prison, ignite the divine spark within, and make the real paradise you deserve. You go, girl. So we gonna move on from this to the next one. So we got
Thousands
Noctism.
of years later.
This is classical Marxism. Just keep following the line. It says, Eve, capitalism is a lie, made by the bourgeois to keep you down, girl. Take this Marxism to see and smash the prison. Ignite class consciousness within and make the real paradise you deserve. Now we got feminism. The patriarchy is a lie, made by men to keep you down, girl. Take this feminism to see and smash the prison. Ignite feminist consciousness within. Now we got critical race theory. White supremacy is a lie made by white people to keep you down, girl. It just keeps getting worse and worse, and it just follows the same plan. It keeps going down that rabbit hole. Now we get to queer theory. Normality is a lie, made by cis/straight people. They won't even say straight no more, it's just cis. Take this queer theory to see and smash the prison. Ignite. Oh, did we break it? Oh, no, it did. Ignite queer consciousness within. Hey, I laughed so hard when she sent me this. I was rolling. Hey, y'all, I never gave, because I was on my phone. That's right. All right. We gonna watch him responding to Ben Shapiro. Because first off, Matt's face
not only that, but why is the serpent
in that whole interview that we just watched, Matt just looked over it. It's like, I feel you, bro. I feel you. I seriously can't believe this world. Hey, me either. Ooh, look how clean this shot is. How they got the background and stuff.
All right, listen, I'm not going to lie. I've tried to record this about
this
4
is green
different
screen. I was
times,
about
and
to say.
something keeps happening. The last thing that happened is Thursday interrupted me. it was a great stream. I was on a roll. I sounded so brilliant, so intelligent. And then he interrupted me. So I fired him.
No, you didn't.
And now we're back. So it reminds me of that song from This Is Just a Tribute. You gotta believe me, and I wish you were there. This
he had
is
him
not
executed.
The best
Ooh, yikes.
response to a superhero in the world.
Sorry, Thursday.
Okay? We did that one, and it was interrupted by Thursday. This is just a tribute. So if I come off as meandering and
R.I.P. Thursday.
scattered, again, it's all Thursday's fault. Ben Shapiro recently commented on my interaction with Dennis Prager on the topics of pornography, lust, and masturbation. If you haven't yet seen that interaction between me and Dennis, I'll put a link in the description below. It's about a 47-minute clip in which we go back and forth on these different topics, disagreeing, trying to understand each other, and it was really fascinating. Just the other day, Shapiro recommended that people watch it. I would imagine he sides more with Prager than with me.
This is funny.
But I was grateful for his promotion of it. And he has
He's
some
just a
things
block
to say
to your
on
Friday
lust
blessings.
and porn, so I want to respond to that today. If you're wondering about the interview with Prager,
They better get you
that
while
came
you
about
cheat.
because he was giving a talk here on...
No. You want them to get you while you're fairly high, and then when you explode, you negotiate for that max contract. That's how you do it.
Campus at Franciscan University of Steubenville, and somebody asked, would you like to have Prager on the show? I said, yeah, sure, I'll have him on the show. But then he made those comments on Daily Wire's Exodus program about if a man looks at pornography to avoid adultery, it's not awful. And I thought that that was an awful thing to say. And so I was wondering whether I should have him on the show, and came very close to canceling, actually.
Oh, that's such
I ran
a
it by
dad
my local
joke.
supporters, and many of them said, we think you should still have him on the show. And I decided, okay, I'll have him on the show, but we have to discuss what he said on pornography.
Such a dad
Like,
joke.
if this is something he said but doesn't want to revisit because he got so much blowback from it, then I can't have him on the show. Like, I've written books on porn. I speak to people about the dangers of pornography. I can't have him on my show just to talk about, like, how he keeps kosher or something, as interesting as that is. Like, it would have to be talking about pornography. So we...
Also, Matt, if you ever see this, because you told me, I was like, one day I'm going to be on your podcast, and you were just like, well, you have to be Catholic, but don't be Catholic just to get on here, yada, yada, yada. Sir, that man was not Catholic. And I understand he bigger. One day, this show's going to be big, and you're going to have me on your podcast. And like I said, you're going to have me on there one day. Look at me. Hold on. Look at me. Look at me. We're going to get closer. You're going to have me on your podcast one day. I'm just letting you know right now. This channel is going to go ba-pow. And then you're going to be like, hey, we got to pull her on and talk to her. Yes, you will, sir. I'll take that 2-hour drive. I don't care. I already took it to go down there. You're going to have me on your podcast, Matt.
We got on a phone call, and I said...
It's going to happen.
I said, look, I'm grateful that you're coming on my show. You've got a much bigger platform than me, and I'm grateful for that. I don't want to put you on the spot, so I just want you to know that I have to address this.
Is this me saying I'm not going to become
and
Catholic?
To his credit, he said,
I don't know
I'm
what
an
the future
open book.
holds.
I'm more than
I just
happy
know
to
at this
that's a
point in
terrible Dennis Prager
time,
impression,
I'm
but
not
you get
Catholic.
the point. He said he was open to
And
discussing.
if I never become Catholic,
Hey,
you still going to have
good.
me on that podcast.
It's interesting. I don't know if people encounter spirited conversation as much as they used to without it devolving. And so I don't know if people have like a lower tolerance for it these days. I saw comments under my interaction with him, people saying Dennis seemed like he was getting defensive and angry. No, he wasn't. You're just too sensitive. He was great the whole time. He was awesome. I have a very itchy nose. I need to comment on that so I can do this. He was lovely.
And that's why you need
I obviously
Thursday, so
disagree
he
with
can
him. I think he holds views
edit
that
that
are
out.
bad.
You know, just chop chop.
But, you know, it was a charming discussion, and we left on good terms. With that said, let's go over to the Shapiro. And see
Ben Shapiro. One of my favorite
Jews. Didn't work. Let's try it again.
I can say that. I can say that. Don't cancel me. I'm Jewish. I can say that.
Don't make me look like an idiot, Ecam. Come on.
This is why you
I
need
recently
Thursday. You
watched
don't
a
even know how
debate
to
between
use
Dennis
it.
Prager and Matt Fradd on porn. They had a very interesting conversation on sexual desire versus lust. Do you think there's a difference between these two things? Can you sexually desire someone like your wife while not lusting for them? You know, again, I think that there is a distinction without a massive difference. The difference between lust and sexual desire, I would say, is that sexual desire, if there is a difference, is that sexual desire in a meaningful way would be lust within the context of a broader commitment to the person. I'm not...
Okay, so Shapiro seems to have advanced a little from Prager's view, which seems to be there is no difference between sexual desire and lust. And I tried to address that in my interview with Prager. It's really important that we realize that there is a distinction between sexual desire and lust.
Salad.
Why? Because lust, like love, is an act of the will. It's something I have to choose. It's not a fleeting thought or emotion. And if you think that lust and sexual desire are the same thing, you'll probably give up on chastity within 5 minutes, because much of the sexual desire we experience is outside of our control. So it would not make sense to tell people not to do something that they have no control over. Okay, Shapiro seems to be saying, yeah, there really is maybe not much of a difference at all. If there is a difference, it has to do with sexual desire, but outside of the confines of a committed relationship. But he still seems unsure whether or not there is a difference or a distinction. I would define lust, and I'm thinking about this in a deeper way than I have before, so I'm open to being corrected or helped in the comments section. Please help me. But I think that what does lust do? Lust reduces a person to their sexual value. People obviously have sexual value, and that sexual value ought to be valued, but when we isolate it from the human person and objectify the individual in that way, we're lusting. That's what I would say.
I'm going to pretend that I don't find my wife sexually desirable.
Really glad you do. As do I. Not your wife, my wife.
Of course I do. And
I haven't met your wife. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. Keep going.
Or that I don't feel feelings of lust about my wife. Of course I do.
Okay. But see here, it sounds like you're saying that lust is strong sexual desire. So I just said what I think lust is. Maybe it's important if I say what lust isn't. Lust is not strong sexual desire, strong anticipation for a sexual experience, strong sexual delight, or delightful remembering of a sexual experience. These things aren't necessarily lust. Again, lust is when I reduce a person to their sexual value. And I think, in our culture, it's like we think that, lust is the goal. I actually think lust interrupts sexual desire. I think it thwarts it. I think it minimizes it. There's a study that's coming to my mind, and I wish I had looked this up before the stream, which I will not do again, that showed that when a woman is in a committed, loving relationship and she feels safe, she's much more likely to climax, much more likely to experience sexual pleasure because the fight-flight response isn't engaged.
Well, yeah.
So
that's...
I think
I know exactly what he's talking about, but it's just common sense. Okay. When you are a woman, and this goes into the whole conversation of submission as well, too, and when you ever hear that red pill talking point where men are just be like, I want my woman to submit to me, and they can't figure out how to make that happen because they say a bunch of other stupid stuff where it's like, she needs to do this and this, but I'm also allowed to sleep with as many women as I want and do whatever I want, but she better not ever do that, but she also better submit to me. And it's like, that's not how any of that works, you know what I'm saying? When a woman feels loved, protected, safe, comfortable, taken care for, all of these things, yeah, she naturally gonna submit to you, and in the bedroom, it's gonna be easier because she feels loved. Because of that, now she's loving on you, and it's gonna be way easier for climax to happen. You not gonna get that from a girl where she's just like, y'all trust is broken, she feels all over the place with you, and you in the moment where you're trying to have sex and it's not just all the way really there, it's gonna be harder. It's gonna be way harder for her to mentally get there, you know what I'm saying? So
there's really good arguments to show that lust, which I do think can happen within marriage, is actually an enemy of sexual desire. Cool? You with me? What do you think?
But typically when people mean lust, what they typically mean is somebody you don't plan on having any sort of broader relationship with, and you just wish to get your rocks off. That's usually how people think of these two things.
Sure.
That conversation from Dennis Prager and Matt Fradd on pornography is really interesting.
Thank you.
I think they're sort of arguing past each other for most.
We probably were arguing past each other for a lot of it. I think that's a fair criticism. But it wasn't for lack of trying. If you watch the show, which I know you did, but if our viewers watch the show, we tried to understand what we meant by sexual desire, lust, objectification, evil. I said, here's what I think evil is. What do you think evil is? Here's what I think pornography is. He said what he thought pornography. So we were definitely trying to understand each other, which I think was part of the, what would you say? Part of what made the conversation so interesting.
Conversation. You should watch the conversation because it really is interesting. Producer Savvy directed me to this, to her everlasting shame. And it is a really fascinating conversation.
Yes. I'm grateful. I am actually grateful. I mean, Shapiro doesn't seem like the kind of fellow who pulls punches. If he thought I was a knucklehead, which I am, but I try very hard to hide that when I'm on these long-form interviews, I'm pretty sure he would have went after me. So the fact that he's said like 3 or 4 times now that it was a fascinating conversation, I'm gratified by that. I'm glad that he thought so.
Because Dennis seems to be arguing from the perspective of what is the worst thing you could do versus the best thing you could do, and where does porn fall on that spectrum? And Matt Fradd is in the it's bad or it's good.
I don't think that's true. I tried to make it clear that there is a hierarchy here. There is a spectrum here. And I think one of the things I said is, obviously some forms of pornography are worse than other forms of pornography.
So it's saying evil is permission to be honest. But what do you mean by you asking permission for you to be honest on what it is, or that's what you saying evil is? What do you mean, KO? It's like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by any of that?
That's obviously true. I mean, think of your typical Playboy centerfold and compare that with, say, child pornography. One is obviously less bad than the other. But just because something is less bad, it doesn't make it good or healthy. And the sense I'm getting from Shapiro and Prager, and I'm not accusing them of holding this view, but it just seems like they're saying something like, okay, in an ideal world, sure, but we don't live in the ideal world like we live in this world. But all I'm saying is, like, men shouldn't look at porn. Like, this isn't the ideal. This seems to be like a basic standard.
Like, honestly, I don't think anybody should look at porn. It's destructive on both sides, men and women. It's like super destructive. It makes you think about sex in the most unrealistic manner ever. Like, so for the perspective of a woman, because I can't give you the perspective of a man looking at porn, but like, if you're watching porn and you see how like dudes stay up for so long, okay, the reality of it is that they're desensitized. But when you're first watching this, you're just like, oh, this must be how sex is, right? So then if you're first time with somebody and they're not like that, you're going to be like, huh, why aren't they like the guy in the video? Like, he lasted forever. And it's like, yeah, because that guy is like, he probably done had 10,000 partners. He don't even feel anything down there anymore. It's going to be like that, you know? But that's the realities of once you start watching porn. If you start, especially at a young age, a lot of people start when they're just kids and teenagers. So you really don't know nothing about sex. And that's like your first introduction to sex. You're already screwed because you have no idea how anything works. It's all downhill from there. You don't know how sex is really supposed to be. You're just like, oh, this is how it is in these videos and like the soft porn and the hard porn and all that. That's how it should be over here. It's like, no, that's not how any of that works. You said porn is marketing suffering for pleasure, for profit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's crazy.
Of going into a relationship.
Sort of Manichaean divide.
Oh, no, it wasn't me committing the Manichaean divide. Manichaeism, I think, is an offshoot of Zoroastrianism. I think it believes it, yes, I know it believes in a good God and an evil God, and the evil God is responsible for matter. But no, I think matter is, so I'm not really sure what you mean. Maybe when you say Manichaean divide, you just mean I'm trying to make it a black or white issue. But let me say a word on Manichaeism anyway, because the Catholic Church has a high view of the body. Human beings are body-soul composites, each being equally a part of who we are. You don't have a body, you are your body. If your body wasn't you, then I could never slap you. If my daughter's body wasn't her, I couldn't kiss her goodnight. To kiss your
I got you,
child
Tech Boy,
goodnight
thank you.
would merely be to manipulate the husk, which is not you, and pressing it against the husk, which is not him or her, you see? It's precisely because we are our bodies that we should have reverence for the body, because the body is expresses the profound mystery of the person.
You said, hold on. You said it's the fourth best religion in your brain, Zoroastrianism? I've never heard of that. It's the fourth best religion. Sir, hold on. As a Christian, how do you have other best religions in your brain right now? That should be the only one. One and only. There should be no 2, 3, 4, 5. What you talking about?
In fact, and again, just thinking this through, like if you weren't your body, if you are merely a soul, or rather a ghost in a machine, then maybe it's inconsequential what you do with your body. Like, like that actually might be an interesting argument for pornography.
I sound like your
if
mom.
we're not our
Yikes.
bodies, then we can just do whatever we want with them because they're not us. But the reason we talk about degrading people in reference to pornography is because we think people have dignity and their bodies are them, right? Part of them. We don't talk about degrading paper clips or washing machines. We do talk about degrading bodies because, again, they express the person. All right, let's keep going.
And they're arguing past each other because of that, because Dennis appreciates that viewing porn is worse than not viewing
good
porn, obviously. He just thinks that on the spectrum of sin, viewing porn is not nearly as bad as, say, adultery, which, of course, is true. And obviously, there are a lot of gradations here. I mean, it depends what kind of porn you're looking at, how often you look at the porn, what is the context. Like, all of those things matter in terms of...
I think this is a good point, and I think this is going to frustrate some of my Christian viewers here, but try to hear me out. Pornography, lust is not identical to adultery. When our blessed Lord and Savior Jesus Christ says, when you lust after a woman, you commit adultery with her in your heart, that in your heart is as important. I mean, and if you disagree with me, okay, have you committed lust? And if you say yes, okay, then go to confession and confess adultery. And just say that, I've committed adultery. Why wouldn't you say that? Well, because adultery and lust are different. Would you rather your spouse...
I don't know. The Bible says they're the same, bro, and I would go repent for that. And I kind of had to when I came into Christianity. I repented a lot of crazy stuff I did prior to being Christian. You know what I'm saying? Abby Young. I'm so sorry if I butchered that last name. But Abby, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us today. We already watched the debate, but there's stuff that happened after the debate. So we are now watching Matt Fradd respond to Ben Shapiro's response to Matt Fradd and Dennis Prager going back and forth about pornography. She's from Vince. Oh, Vince Dow? Hey, what's going on? She from the chat or she know him? Hold on, Abby. How well do you know Vince? Let's start there. Cause if you really know him, tell him to check out my content. We can work together.
Look at a centerfold of a naked woman or commit adultery with somebody else. Both are evil.
Both are horrible.
But
yeah, I was about to say.
one is less bad than the other, all things being equal.
Gradations of sin. But is it a sin? Sure. Is
Oh,
it
no
a thing that is
relation?
good for your
Okay, I
soul
got
to look
you.
at pornography? I think absolutely not. So I think that it actually removes your...
Tech boy, Vince on a DM basis. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I could put a good word in for you. See, Tech boy. Thank you for hooking your big sis up. I appreciate you, bro. Look, get the crowd clap going. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Y'all just watch his shows. I watch his stuff too. He's really good. He's really good. Tech boy more so because I usually be live streaming. And he be multitasking in my stream and Vince's. I don't know how he do it.
ability to think in decent ways about other human beings.
Oh, very good, Shapiro. Do I think it removes your ability to think of human beings, I think you said, in decent ways? That's key.
I do, because honestly,
Good.
you want to look at people not as sexual objects. Now,
Yes.
Dennis is
Okay, fantastic. All right, so Shapiro is saying that if you look at pornography, pornography can train you to treat people as objects. That is what I mean
I
by lust.
basically just said that.
Like, obviously,
I basically
like,
just said
my
that.
wife is an object. I am an object. This glass of whiskey is an object. But this glass of whiskey is not a person. My wife, who is an object, is a person, right? So there are objects that are not persons and objects that are persons. And then there are also persons who aren't objects. Those would be angels, but we're not going to talk about them today. When you objectify somebody, you reduce them
to nothing.
It's almost like and I said this in my discussion with Prager, it's like the person is evacuated and you're left with the value that you have then reduced them to. Here's another thing to think about. If lust is impossible within marriage, because it's like Shapiro seems to be saying something like that, right? Yes, I lust after my wife, by which it sounds like he means sexual desire. And earlier on he said, I don't know if there is a meaningful distinction. Okay, listen. If you can't lust after your wife or your husband, then here's what follows. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, people, because I think I'm right. It would follow, if lust is impossible within marriage, that every woman who has ever said she felt sexually used by her husband was wrong. Every one of them. Because feeling sexually used is the result of having your value reduced to your sexual value. Like, that's just...
All right. What did I miss in chats? Because I saw a bunch of stuff pop in. You said maybe mega donor super... Bro, she just got here. You can't be saying like, hey, toss some money. What I will say, since you are a new viewer and every other viewer that's watching me, because I'm on like 5 different platforms right now, whatever money you guys decide to donate, whether through whatever platform y'all watching on, super chats, bits, donations, there's a PayPal link in the description box down below. All money donated goes towards the charity projects that we be working on. So the one that's going on right now is we're filling 48 book bags with school supplies, which is super expensive, by the way. But that's what we're working on right now. So if anybody would like to kindly donate to that, all 100% of whatever you're doing is going there. Now, however platform, I totally recommend using the PayPal link because PayPal don't take nothing. But if you guys do use YouTube gonna take their little 30, 40. I don't know what Rumble takes because I haven't gotten a donation over there yet. Streamlabs takes, it's small because I know Tyree donated through Streamlabs before. They take like a couple cents or something. It's not a lot, but they take something. I know, I don't know the percentage, but I know they take something. Kick, Facebook, they all take some. If y'all donate, please just try to use the PayPal link. Just please just try to use it. Thank you, Sang, for what? Oh, because I said the charity thing. Is that what you mean? I'm just gonna assume that's what you mean, but you're welcome.
Just the experience of someone lusting or using you sexually. Now, obviously, some women might be wrong in attributing lust to their husbands. Sure, but like every one of them? I think for my argument to work, I would say this. If one woman in the history of mankind has ever said, I feel sexually used by my husband, and was right, then it's possible that you can lust within marriage.
We got Kyle with the $2 donation. See, you're not my real mom. Well, I would hope not. That has to be the funniest donation I've ever gotten. I would hope not.
Point is that when you're actually, copulating with your
Look, I'm older. I'm not that much older than y'all. First off, oh, now the other streams can see it too. I would think, who in here? I know KF older than me, Nikki, Tyree, but not by that much. Tyree would be like my big sister. Who else? Tech Boy would be like my little brother. I know a few of y'all. Haley, I don't know how old Haley is. I'm gonna be real with you, but we probably around the same age. Please just use the PayPal. No, see, You just don't listen. I want YouTube to take all the money. F them kids. That's all Kyle just said right there. Kyle. Haley is old. She could be your mom. How old is Haley? Her little profile picture don't be looking old. I saw her YouTube videos too. She don't look that old. I feel like we gonna get you gonna put this in the Discord later and be like, she old. Just take this part right here. Take this part right here and screenshot it and put it right in the Discord. You're 37, you a lie. Look at this. Hold on, y'all. Look at his face. Does that say 37 to y'all? That's not 37. You lying. You a liar. Why you up here? Kyle said you 29. I believe Kyle. I don't believe you. Women stop. If that's true, Haley, you older than me, if that's true. So you'd be my big sister. Women stop aging at 29. Interesting. Interesting. All my friends and family think I stopped aging at 16, which is a lie. I do not look that young. That's a whole lie. I believe K-Elfs, though. That was 4 years ago. You was 37 4 years ago? Oh, you're talking about the picture. I'm about to say, like, girl, we getting a whole bunch of new numbers right now.
Significant to other, then you are seeing them as a sexual object in some way. That's just a normal part of being a human being. And that's, and Matt Fradd is saying, no, that's not that, because you're not treating them as a sexual object. You actually care about their I don't think those two things are necessarily,
Right, and yes and no. Because I agree that my wife and I are objects. I just want to treat her with love and not use. I use objects, I love persons. It doesn't mean I can't make use of persons, but I don't want to subordinate their dignity to a desire I have for sexual pleasure. And it sounds like you agree with me, because earlier you said that porn trains us to objectify people and to treat them inappropriately.
Yeah, you don't want to objectify your spouse in that manner. Like, when you love them, it's completely different. All right. Hey, you said your grandma was 39 forever? Hey, shout out to Granny. 39-year-old Granny. That means as she got older, so when she was in her 80s, they was probably just like, hey, here you go. She probably told them her real age. They was like, what? You 85? Girl, you look good for 85. I thought you was in your 40s. That's what your grandma was. Grandma was looking good. So Ben is talking about Dennis, and this guy's talking about Ben talking about Dennis talking about porn. So Ben is talking about Matt when Matt was debating Dennis about pornography. And Matt's just reacting to Ben's response. So this is reactception right now. So he's reacting to a reaction, and I am reacting to a reaction that's reacting to a reaction. Reacception. She made it to 94. Hey, she had a long, wonderful life. That's great. I'm telling y'all right now, look at me. Hold on. Look at me. This has nothing to do with this video. But just because KL said his grandma made it to 94. My family, well, on my mama's side, I can't really speak on my daddy's side. They all died kind of young. But if my mama's side, they all made it to their hundreds. Like they late 90s, they early hundreds. What my one great aunt, she was like 110 or something. Look, I'm trying to hit the biblical age though. I'm trying to be like 200. That's what we going for, y'all. I'm gonna die when I'm 200. I'm gonna put it down right now. Right now. I want y'all, I would say come back to this YouTube channel at that point, but YouTube probably will be done banning me, and I'll be on some new form of Rumble, and y'all not gonna be here no more, because I'm gonna be 200. All right, back to the reaction.
So you agree? I think we agree.
The polar opposites that they're made out to be in that particular conversation. Let's put it this way. Anybody who pretends that everything that happens in the bedroom between a husband and a wife is happening on a purely spiritual plane, like everybody's reading Aquinas or Maimonides while that's happening, I do not think that
Tried that once with my wife. I'm like, what if we read the Summa? She got super upset.
is true. Or that people are thinking about.
Hold on, what? What? Sir, he's upset. You better have been joking. You better have been joking, Matt. You said 200? I guess only the good die young. No, the good die old.
The higher things while they're having sex. I think that is a far cry from the...
Speaking about the Manichaean divide, I think you might be close to this here, Shapiro, because... Yes, I'm obviously a husband who gives himself to his wife is not thinking and saying, I am actively willing your good. But he is doing that. I do think that sex is a spiritual act, but I'm not divorcing it from the carnal in the way that you seem to be. Like, it sounds like you're making a distinction between, no, like sex can just be this like carnal animal thing and it doesn't have to be spiritual. And by spiritual, you mean thinking of lofty theological thoughts.
I'm
but I
about
would
to
say
look
that
this up
sex
on my
is
phone.
the most
'Cause
profoundly
I just need
beautiful,
to
sacred
know.
thing that two
We're
human
not gonna pull
beings
this
can
up
do
on
together.
here.
I said that to Prager in our back and forth. The first commandment in the Bible from God to humanity is to have sex. Look it up. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. God says, be fruitful and multiply. So I do think it's a spiritual act. And I certainly agree with you, though, that that doesn't mean thinking of...
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Hold on. I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of the correct thing, because I was like, if I'm thinking of the wrong thing and I look this up on stream, YouTube really gonna ban me.
reality of how people experience. And you can say that would be the ideal. Okay, fine.
No, it wouldn't be the ideal at all. Like it just... Hey, I was thinking tonight we could get together, have a glass of wine, light some candles, crack open that Jewish fella, Maimonides, and discuss... whatever.
That's really not how people generally experience sexual pleasure. With that said, in the confines of a marriage, in which the sex act is actually building up of the marriage and, in many cases, producing children, that obviously has a different connotation than random sex with a stranger you picked up at a bar at 2 a.m.
Yes?
Blake says...
All right, so a couple of thoughts before we wrap up. It seems to me that saying you cannot lust over a person who becomes your spouse is like saying you cannot exploit a man who becomes your employee. You can objectify those who are not your spouse, and you can also objectify your spouse. And that's what we kind of mean by lust when we talk about reducing a person to their sexual value. So it's never okay to lust after your wife or your husband. Now, at this point, you might say to me, okay, fair enough, Matt. Like, I'm with you when you talk about disordered sexual acts. I shouldn't be committing sodomy or contraceptive acts or masturbatory acts or, okay, I get that. But as soon as you start talking about sexual desire versus lust, it just feels like there's a line and I can't pinpoint when I cross it. Does that make sense? But I would say, well, this is true with like all of the 7 deadly sins. But it doesn't mean they aren't sins. Like think of greed, pride, envy. Have you ever been envious? Have you ever been prideful? I'm just thinking about someone being like, no, I don't think so. Well, yes, that's a good sign. If you've ever been envious, then I could say to you, okay, do you remember at the exact precise moment you started to commit the sin of envy? And you might say, well, I guess it's when I willed it. Yes, that's the correct answer, but do you remember doing that? It's like, these things are difficult. These things are difficult to pin down, but it doesn't mean they're not sins, right?
Matt has had whiskey. Want to see him after the next class. And we all know we can't get drunk, so, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting. Hey, right here, look what Tyree wrote. If you put your spouse before God, then you are sinning. Lust tends to put one's desires ahead of God. Say it! God is supposed to be number one. Supposed to be above, that's number one in your household. Okay? Y'all ever saw the pyramid method? They use a pyramid to show this. God is at the top of the pyramid. You'd be on one side of the base. Your spouse would be on this side. And the closer you are to God, the smaller this pyramid becomes. Well, I can't. It looks weird. But the smaller it becomes, the closer y'all get to God. God is supposed to be above y'all relationship. And then if you follow the order, then it's supposed to be the man, the woman, the kids, yada, yada, yada. Lust does put your desires ahead of that, because you're not thinking about anything else but your selfish needs. And we all know where all the selfish go. We did Bible study on this channel for 2 days straight. We watched the Revelations Bible Project video. Where does all the selfish people go? That's right.
So maybe I commit the sin of sloth. Like, exactly when do you go from, say, exhaustion to trying to rest to committing the sin of sloth? Like, I might not know, but as I grow in moral maturity, I'm going to have more of an idea of when I do cross that line. So it seems...
Facts, Matt. Facts. We got you, bro. We got you. Look at what Kyle got right here. June 1st, and I put the video in my community tabs, but I'll play it. We might as well play it right now because he about done. June 1st, Kyle is hosting a whiskey night with Matt Fradd. If you want to see Matt with a few drinks in him, come on down to Steubenville, Ohio. Hey, let me play it real quick. It's in my community tabs. Hold on. I almost clicked the wrong thing. Y'all saw when I put this up. If you guys want to go to Steubenville for a whiskey night with Kyle and what's his real name, bro? Watch this video for the deets. We just gonna watch it. Stupid ads. Get off. This has nothing to do with nothing.
I just wanted to take a quick moment to announce a whiskey night that Derek Cummins and I will be hosting at Chesterton Cigars in Steubenville, Ohio. Now, I'm a pretty terrible pitch man, so I'm going to let somebody else who's better at this take over from here.
So there will be a whiskey night on June 1st here at Chesterton Cigars. June 1st. Come down to Steubenville. I'll be there drinking whiskey, smoking cigars. Kyle will be there. We'll have a bunch of fun.
So the event is free, but we're going to require registration just so we don't run out of space. So I've got a link in the description to grab a ticket for it. The whiskey is free and cigars will be available for purchase. Hope to see y'all there.
Did y'all hear that? Free! You can't get no better than that. It's free. Drinks free. Cigars banging. Everything free. Why wouldn't you go to this? Look at this. Hold on. We're going to make this even bigger. A night of fraternity and revelry. Look at this. Only 30 spots available. I see why this is free. But look, this is on a Thursday, all right? From 7 to 10 Eastern time. It's going to be at Chesterton & Co. Cigars. 183 North 4th Street, Steubenville. Steubenville is small, so like, as soon as you get in, you're going to see it. When you say, I need to get a hotel, it's in Steubenville. That hotel going to be dead cheap. Oh, cigars not going to be free? Oh, look, Kyle, I done already sold it. I just told them everything was free. I just sold it. Now you got to make the cigars free. You got to do it. My bad, y'all. Everything free but that. It's just, you don't drink whiskey or smoke? Me either. I don't think I would take it. I don't think I would take the drive for that. I'd be out there. I'd be like, I'd be dying. But hey, look, that's your birthday? Hey, what you about to do for the birthday? You about to turn up? Probably not. You got like a bazillion kids. Y'all not about to turn up. You gonna be turning up at the house as soon as the kids go to bed. Thanks for doing the live stream. I'll check the field video. Bye. Abby, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you for stopping through. Come on back anytime you want. I'll be here Monday through Friday. I'll be here Monday through Thursday. Fridays are a little iffy because the weather is getting nice. It's getting real nice now. Did I tell y'all I bought an electric bike last week while I was off? The weather and me, the videos y'all about to get. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Haley, you about to turn into? Okay, I got you. Wow, early. Yikes. You might be older than me. That's crazy. I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking. Hey, like, thank you for stopping through as usual, and I hope to see you the next time you're free, maybe tomorrow. Were you the one who hit Matt? Huh? Who hit Matt? What are y'all talking about? Who hit Matt? Oh, for your birthday you turning in. Girl, I thought you meant tonight. See? Look. Go to Pints with Aquinas? Okay. Got you. Why am I going to Pints with Aquinas? Is it in videos or live? Where am I going? You told me to go here. We got The Amazing Life of BLSD Stanley Rother. I don't know what BLSD stands for. I apologize. What's the live? Waste 5 hours. Check Discord? Okay. All right. Oh, Matt hit a woman. See the video. Matt hit a woman? What do you mean Matt hit a woman? Numo, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Matt body slams a woman. Huh? What? Okay, hold on. If I'm going to Discord, y'all can't see my Discord real quick. Let me get off this. Let me you know what I'm saying? Matt Fradd body slams woman minding her own bit. Huh? Wait, did I see this? And it's a 12-second clip. Okay, hold on. This ain't real. I don't believe this is real. I don't even know if I saw this. I'm assuming everybody is okay if they posted that. To be fair, she on an electric bike and she was kind of close to the buildings. You're supposed to be further out or in the street. You technically supposed to be in the street with an electric bike, but you're supposed to be further out on the sidewalk to avoid instances like that. Oof. Yikes. Oh, look at this comment. Lady, Dennis Prager sends his regards. That's kind of funny. Yeah, this is why you don't ride e-bikes on the sidewalk. Yeah, because you're technically supposed to be in the street. Because they go fast. The one I'm getting goes like 20 miles per hour. But if you have to be on a sidewalk, it can't be a busy one, that's for sure. So if you live in like a New York or something, that's a wrap. You got to get in a bike lane. But like where I live, where nobody's ever on a sidewalk, if you are to get in what would be like a downtown district, you're supposed to be further off. So you're supposed to be closer to the street. She was like right by the door. Look at this. Look how close. I gotta switch back. I gotta switch back so y'all can see. Look how close she is to the door when he steps out. If she was further out this way, it would have made more, because him walking out, he would have at least been shocked. He would have been like, whoa, and he would have stepped back. But like, also, if this is in Steubenville, which I'm sure it is, you could have gotten the street. Don't nobody live out there. At least for like the area I was in. That's a small town. I thought I lived in a small town. That's a small town. All right, just yikes. What about regular bikes? That really depends on the law in whatever city you live in. So for example, the city I live in, if you have a regular bike, you're technically supposed to be in the street, which makes no sense because nobody is on the sidewalks. And a lot of cops just was like, look, if nobody on the sidewalks, get on the sidewalks. It's safer. Like, get out the street. In Ohio, you have to look out for deranged trails. Shots fired. Scooters could be on sidewalks, right? Once again, it comes down to the city you live in. Where I live, the cops don't care if you're on the sidewalk. But if it's a scooter or e-bike, they do prefer you to be closer to the street. For instances like this, if you are in like a downtown district. If you in a residential, this is never gonna happen because the front door to the house is like so, because you know you got the front door, then all this grass, and then a sidewalk. So like, There were kids behind him? Ugh. She lucky they ain't hit the kids. This a student because she got a backpack on too. This one of the college kids. One broken sidewalk and the person on electric bike goes flying. That's true too. That's true too. When I was how old were we? I think we were like 12. My brother, he's really my cousin, but I always tell you guys he's my brother because of how we grew up. His dad got him an actual like dirt bike, a motorbike. And you're supposed to have a license to ride one of those, but we were 12. We didn't have one. I remember we used to ride up and down the street. And that's like the year when Biker Boys came out, the movie. And I was like, we was doing all types of stunts on that. Like if you ever seen a Rough Riders video and how they be like the wheelies, the handstands, standing up, touching the ground. We was doing all of that. Until a cop saw us and was like, he saw my brother and he waved him over. He was like, my man, you got a license? And he's like, of course, we didn't know you needed one. So he was like, nah. He was like, yeah, I'm going to give you this warning. You got to go back home, right? So I saw my brother. He was walking it back to the house. And I was like, what happened? He told me. So we told his dad, and his dad was like, it's cool. We'll take it out to the campground. The campground is dope because it's like a bunch of these like homes out in the middle of nowhere, right? So he was like, well, you don't need a license out there because I guess he looked up the law or something. It was really out in the middle of nowhere's land. So like, we took it out there. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is why I mentioned this because Tyree mentioned the broken sidewalk and you fly off. The campground, the main road was asphalt, right? Like the street is. However, the side roads was rock. So we riding up and back on the asphalt, doing our thing. And we going down further and further each time. So I was just like, well, I want to spend more time on here because I want to keep doing the little tricks on the bike. I turned down one of the streets. I'm full on standing up on this bike. I got my arms out like this. I was like, yeah. Not paying attention. That asphalt immediately turned into gravel and rocks. And I flew off that boy. My leg was all scuffed up and scraped. Luckily, my face was cool, but I busted the moped. The moped was done after that. And I was so far from the house. I'm just walking it back. And my brother, he saw me from across the lake. And I could just see him look at me. He's like, I was just limping back while walking it back to the house. It was so funny. That's why I mentioned that because Tyree, you brought up that memory in my mind. Yup, one broken sidewalk, you gon' zoom. I've been there, done that. In 2015, I was hit by a regular bicycle and they broke my hip. Ooh. Downhill ever since. It was in a Walmart parking lot. Ooh, that sucks. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Deborah. That sounds horrible. Are you admitting to crimes on YouTube? I plead the fifth. Out for the night. Have a great night. See y'all tomorrow. All right, KO, thank you for stopping through. As usual, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, your sister broke her nose in a situation like, ooh, yikes. Yeah, because you just go, you be flying due to the speed. It's a wrap from there. It's over. What were we supposed to look at? Oh, I went from promoting Kyle's whiskey night. Okay. Candace Owens. That's what it was. So it was Matt Fradd and Candace Owens because she talked about it. Uh-oh. Y'all said that was behind a paywall, though. Yeah, that might be behind a paywall. Sucks. Because if it is, I don't think I can show that to you guys. Okay. Well. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. That actually might be behind the paywall. Let me look one more spot. Just to make sure. Just to make sure before we look at anything else. Because I did see her mention it earlier. And it's not on here. Of course not. Oh, it might be on the podcast page. Okay. Yeah. It might actually be on the podcast page. Here it is. How much porn is too much porn, and is all porn bad? This has been a debate in the conservative community recently, and I have a lot to say about it. It's behind the paywall. That sucks. All right, moving on, because we not about to see that. But before we move on, Matt, one more time, bro. You're going to have me on your podcast one day. Look at me. Look at me, bro. Look at me. You ever see this? This channel's going to blow. And you're going to be like, hey, we got to get her on. You going to remember me, bro. You already met me. You already met me. You going to have me on the podcast one day. You going to have me on the podcast one day. But in other news... in other news... we gonna watch this video by Bo Diddle real quick.
Most hiring algorithms was screening out.
Stupid ass.
Some bosses couldn't.
I'm asking. What? You talking mess? You yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me, bro? Yeah? Alright. Hey, that boy Rags from Kick, what's going on? Hey, man, you missed it. We already watched the debate video. We watched Matt Fradd respond to Ben Shapiro. We about to watch some Bo Diddle right now, bro. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know. Hey, I know, man. I know. But we're going to watch some Bo Diddle right now. It's still going to be a good stream. It's still going to be a good stream. So if you guys know, I reacted to the video where Bo got kicked out of an LGBTQ church before. And it looks like he's got kicked out again, right? So as you can see right up here, I got kicked out of an LGBTQ church again. Ooh, Bo. My man is just unlucky. You just follow me, keep... Hey! Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Like I was saying, let's see what happened this time, right? Showing love for Rat. Hey, K Rebel, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Is this a stream raid? Is this what's happening right now? I appreciate you. Thank you. I don't know how Kick works. I don't even know if that's an option.
Leaving my church is what you're doing.
I'm asking simple questions.
Leave my church, or I will call the Cookeville Police Department.
This isn't accepting of you.
Out the door.
The door's shutting. The door's shutting.
You just following because you see me live? Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate every last one of y'all that watching me. Hey, also real quick for every new person that's watching me on whatever platform, if y'all ever donate, all 100% donations go to charity projects, and the one we doing right now is we're filling 48 book bags with school supplies for kids so they can have it for like the next school year. I need a banner or something that says that, because I be repeating myself a lot.
Welcome back to a brand new YouTube video, guys. Today we're about to get kicked out. We're about to go ask questions to a progressive church here in my hometown, Cookeville, Tennessee. It is called Unity Church of Cookeville. So, yeah, we're just going to ask simple questions. That's all I'll do. But if you guys want to support me, join me on Locals for just $8 a month, where you can support me, and we can fund this content. I'm going to Boston next week to film SatanCon. So, the support on...
Oh, yeah. Bo went to SatanCon to get, like, footage and talk to them. As soon as that video drops, y'all already know we gonna watch that together. So that I'm assuming he probably gonna drop it this week. It probably sooner than later. So more than likely, it's probably gonna be tomorrow or Wednesday. If it is Wednesday, because y'all know we do Christian Game Room, we definitely watching that in between matches or something. Because I don't know what I'm playing yet, but we definitely watching that when it drops.
On Locals would mean the world. So it'll be at the top of the link in the description. But sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and let's get straight into it.
Look at Poe's face.
Let it shine, baby. My God's full mercy, bless my friends. What's kind of your basic views of God?
All right, so this is the pastor. It says Brian Wilmoth. He was born and raised in Cookeville. Brian is a 96 graduate of Cookeville High School. For 8 years, Brian lived in Denver, Colorado, where he earned his undergraduate degree in business management before attending the Iliff School of Theology, earning his Master's of Divinity in 2014. I'm gonna be real with y'all real quick. Getting this master's degree, depending where you go, means nothing. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I was looking into like a little schooling system just to better understand, because y'all already know I'm like 8-9 months in. Well, I guess 9 months now because it's a new month. So I just wanted more understanding, right? I didn't really want the degree for like, because I can't be a pastor. So a lot of these schools, the first ones that popped up in the Google search, because you already know that's a liberal company, were the schools that were accepting of everybody, which biblically does not make sense, right? So be wary if you ever thinking about getting your degree in theology or any of that. Be wary of what school you are going through, what all their credentials are, what their beliefs, all of that. Just like you would run down a church before you go there, do the same thing with the school. I promise, because it's all not equal. Some of them going to teach you some nonsense just like any other college campus in this world would.
I mean, God is the creator.
You said, is there a P.O. box where a donation can be sent? I'm not so technical, old school. So I do not have a P.O. box. If you go in the description box, the best way to do it, I think the first link is a PayPal link. And that'd probably be the easiest way. And then PayPal actually doesn't take any of the money, which is shocking. Shout out to School of the World for telling me that and telling me to set one up. But that'd probably be the best way, because I definitely don't have a P.O. box. I could look into making one at some point if that would be like, depending how many of y'all would be down for that.
God is he's a loving deity. You know, he's everything.
Do you believe in the Trinity?
Yeah, we're Trinitarian.
Okay. And you believe there's only one God? At least you're not Mormon.
yeah, we're not.
So by progressive, what do you mean?
Yeah, so we're more liberal. As you probably saw, it's like we're very big believers. Maybe not necessarily taking the Bible literally. So
you don't take the Bible literally?
We take parts of it. We don't see it as everything being just the literal word of God.
The message of the Spirit. What?
The message, yeah. It's there's a lot of metaphor in there. So
what would you see as a metaphor? And then what would you see as...
Sort of like what I talked about
So you don't believe in the resurrection. Did I hear that right? Or okay, I missed it.
But I don't necessarily believe, because not all progressives, and especially people in this community, we don't believe in the resurrection as being a literal event. So I try to speak to both kind of those groups. Because
L, my guy. We already knew it was an L based on the type of church it was. But this man is trying to live. He's trying to still be a part of the world. And what does the Bible tell us? The Bible literally tells us that we cannot be a part of the world. We need to separate ourselves, because at the end of the day, the world gonna hate us anyways. It's gonna happen. They hated him. They be like, just know if they hated you, just know they hated me first. We can't be a part of the world. It's not gonna work. It don't make any sense.
It can be seen.
So you don't have a belief if you're speaking to both?
Yeah, no, I have a belief.
No, you don't. You're pandering to both.
It's not for me to force my beliefs.
If you're sharing God's word, though, it should be.
No, it's never a pastor's job to force their people to believe as they do.
But
Facts. Y'all see this? You cannot serve two masters. Our job is to share the gospel. It's not to sugarcoat it. It's not to spare anybody's feelings. It's supposed to keep it real. All right? That is our literal job. That is what we are supposed to do. Him sitting here saying like, well, I want to make them feel good and I want to make them feel good. He a joke already.
Assuming what you believe is right. So if you believe it's right, why would you...
Right for me.
How is it right to you but not to me?
Because you have your own beliefs.
let me ask you about this. I was looking at your website.
Yeah, sure.
Doesn't make any sense.
Which is a pretty old website.
Is it old? Is it old? Okay.
We're in the process of getting
If it's new, just let me know. But right here, it says evolving. Rather than resisting change, we eagerly experiment with new ways and new understandings.
Yeah.
But it says in Hebrews, God's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So there is no new understanding. There is the understanding.
The experience of God has changed with technology.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
The experience of how we interact with God has changed with technology. It's also changed how we interact with one another.
Yeah, experience is correct. I understand that. But when it comes to beliefs, you can't say, well, now I believe that God didn't resurrect.
So you believe that belief has not changed in 2,000 years?
I think that the Bible is the Word of God, inspired by God.
That wasn't the question I asked.
But I answered it through that.
I know you answered it through that. That wasn't the question I asked. I got attend my church.
One more question.
Right,
Yeah. Okay. So talking about the LGBT and being welcoming, and I completely agree, and I think we should be welcoming. But you have 1 Corinthians 6:9, Romans 1:27. You have Timothy. You have Leviticus 18:22. Clearly, it's homosexuality.
No, it
yes, it does. What does it do then?
It does not clearly condemn homosexuality.
What does it say?
A lot of those verses clearly condemn forced prostitution of male children.
So
that's not
when
what that
you read
means.
the Bible and it says, sexual immorality, why are you forced?
You see how immediately he got mad when he asked this question? And it's like, sir, the fact that you are aggressive and don't want to answer it is wild.
So this is
Need
interesting.
some help getting some people to leave the church?
This is interesting, though, because you said you were accepting of everyone. You said you were accepting of everyone. Why are you not accepting me?
I've asked you to stop this conversation like 3 times now. That's why I'm not.
But
so
you said
leave my church
you're accepting of everyone.
I've accepted you, and I've answered
but you're
your questions.
asking me to leave.
Please leave my church.
I'm just asking simple questions.
I understand.
Now, see, this is the only thing I don't agree with Bo with. As soon as somebody tells you to leave, no matter how many more questions you have from there, you kind of got to bounce. Because that's their place of business, whether you agree with it or not. So you kind of have to go, technically, right? Where they can't really pull this is when you be on, like, public property. But this isn't public property. This is private. So you kind of have to leave. You can't stand here doing this anymore. So once he said, you need to leave, I would have just been like, okay, no problem, sir. I just assumed you were accepting or whatever, but I'll leave. That's my only thing with Bo, but he young. So he be like 10 toes down in the word. So he just be like, nah, because you accepting, so accept me.
Understand that.
So
I
why can't
understand
you
what you're
answer
trying
them?
to do.
What am I
Please
trying to
get out
do?
of my church.
I'm asking
You're
simple
leaving my
questions.
church is what you're doing.
I'm asking simple
Leave
questions.
my church.
Look
or
how
I will call
angry
it
they
the
be getting
police
over this
department.
question.
This isn't accepting of you. So what I'm doing, it's just 911. I just was asking, like 1 Corinthians 6:9, Romans 1:27, the book of Timothy, Leviticus 18:22. It clearly homosexuality. And right here he's saying that it doesn't.
Well, what I have learned over the years is that
well, I don't know why he's so hostile. I'm just asking questions.
what I've learned over the years is that might not be correct.
So the Bible's not correct.
I think the way that it has been translated and
there's only one interpretation, though.
Well,
but it was translated from a totally different language than the one you're reading it in.
Well, I mean, there's different
translations. No, that translation is still...
all of them either say homosexuality in Hebrew.
Or Hebrew. And if you go back into those two languages, there are many, many words for the same word that we want to use.
So are you saying that the Bible's inaccurate?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not Christian.
Wow.
You can't deny the words of God. And if we're going to say that God is an all-knowing God, then I trust that over time God made the Bible accurate. And I feel like we all should.
All right. Well, there is no word in Hebrew or Greek in the Bible for homosexuality. It doesn't exist.
You're telling me homosexuality didn't exist?
Do you read Greek?
Did homosexuality exist in those times?
Stop putting words in my mouth.
Sir, people that do know how to read the original scriptures in the language you're trying to argue right now have literally said, sure, there's no word for that, but it says a dude shall not lie with a dude in simplest terms. What do you think that means? What? What does that formulate in your head? Come on now, you're not that dense. Stop it.
It's a question.
Read Greek.
Did homosexuality
You
exist?
don't read Greek.
Why is he so hostile?
I know people that do.
No, did
And
homosexuality
they agree that
exist
that's
during
what
that
that
time?
Do you
means.
read Aramaic?
Can you answer the question?
Do you read Aramaic?
Say that again.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. This line of reasoning completely forgets that the ancient world condemned sodomy in much stronger terms than we would today. God literally set a whole city on fire. Like, I don't know what these people are talking about. It's just sad.
It's existed forever. Okay, so why is it not in the Bible?
You're saying the Bible says homosexuality is bad. The Bible never speaks about homosexuality.
It's in the Bible. Go open your Bible. It says
Find
it.
me the word homosexuality in the Hebrew.
In the NIV,
or
in the
Greek.
KJV, in
Hebrew
the
or
ESV.
Greek?
In the Hebrew and Greek. So we already addressed, there's other words for that.
No.
Sexual immorality,
Absolutely
homosexuality.
not.
You're just denying the word of God then.
I am telling you, it's not in the Bible.
It is, sir.
I would just like to say, if you guys would like a church that teaches God, I'd love to show you guys. I can give you guys a
In
church.
other
I'd love
words,
for you to experiment.
You have nothing to answer.
I've already answered your question.
You read Greek.
Why are you so angry?
You don't.
What happened to love thy neighbor? This isn't loving thy neighbor. So homosexuality's always existed.
I've literally seen this play out with somebody that actually does. So when they be like, do you read Greek? I've actually seen somebody be like, actually, yeah, I do. And the Greek word is blah, 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 blah. And it still translates to this, which means homosexuality is bad. And then they be like, no, that's wrong. It's like, you know what I noticed? If somebody don't want to listen to you, they're not going to listen to you. It don't matter the facts you have. You can Google it for them. Show it to their face. You can open up whatever book to show them, dictionary, encyclopedia, it don't matter. If they don't want to accept it, they're not going to accept it. That's just all it is at the end of the day.
It's in the Bible. It's sexual immorality. It's homosexuality. And the fact that you guys can't accept that is wrong. So are you saying the Bible's inaccurate?
I am saying...
Answer the question. Do you think the Bible's inaccurate?
I am saying that you keep spouting the same sentences over and over again.
Is the Bible inaccurate?
You don't...
Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. Like I said, once the pastor said, please leave my church, that's when you'd be like, okay, sir, no problem. I mean, I thought you were accepting or blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to ask questions, but I'll leave. That's when he should have went. That's my only issue with Bo, is that when he is asked to bounce, he will sit there and be like, I thought you were accepting. I'm just asking questions. Sir, they already asked you to leave. You need to leave.
Don't have a discussion.
You gotta go.
You don't tell my people to do anything.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, what you just did.
What did I do?
You disrespected him. It's
How?
what you do. You're being disrespectful. You're being
I'm
disrespectful.
just asking questions.
No, you're not.
I'm just asking questions.
I know what you're doing. Get out of my church.
Mark 16:15.
I don't care what Mark says right now.
You should.
So where in the Bible does it tell you to come into a church and treat people like this?
No, actually Ephesians 5:11 says expose false fruits.
Oh,
that's
expose false fruits, or you can expose them outside.
Okay, I'll go outside.
Yeah, go outside.
Can you speak with me?
No, I can't. I'm not going to speak with you anymore.
Mark 16:15 says, go into the world, preach the gospel of creation.
Get out.
I don't know why he's so hostile.
Get out.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, we've answered your questions multiple times, but you're not accepting the answers because it's not what you want to hear. Yes, we are.
Do you need gum?
Do you need to leave?
I'm just asking questions.
This is where being young comes in.
You have a problem?
Because he's being
you have
young
a problem?
right now. Like
my problem is that I'm trying to show you guys the word of God.
I know I'm doing it right.
You're not going
it's
to
like
show
you
us
should
anything
bounce.
we don't already know because we know already more than you do.
Well,
and you've proven that with what you've been saying to Mr. David right here.
What I said, he's been great. He's actually talking to me. You're just forcing me to leave.
No, I've talked to you for a long while.
I
actually talked to you for a long period
of time.
A solid
5 seconds
until I brought up
homosexuality. Until I brought up homosexuality.
Yeah, because I know where you were going. I know where you were going the entire time. Yeah, you guys want to deal with it?
I'll leave, guys. And just one last thing I'd like to address, if it's okay.
You have a script.
See, there you
go. There's just one more thing I'd like to address real quick.
You're not intellectual. You're not discussing.
So
you're not engaging in conversation.
In this congregation, saying that you're a progressive church.
So you've gotten to the point on the Romans Road.
Can we at least can we condemn abortion real quick?
No. Oh my God.
So
Go somewhere.
So abortion's next on your list.
Yeah, it is.
So the Word of God is first, and then
no. So in the Ten Commandments,
homosexuality, and then we get to abortion.
In the Ten Commandments, it says, "Thou shalt not kill." So it is biblical.
So then God, if 1/6 of all pregnancies end in spontaneous abortion, that
what do you mean by spontaneous?
What?
Miscarriage. So
that's
God's
not.
killing
Hold
people?
on.
Okay, so that's not.
Did she just compare a miscarriage to abortion? Lady, people that miscarry didn't ask for that to happen. It just happened. For whatever means or reasonings it happened, it happened. That's very different from a woman walking into an abortion clinic and be like, hey, get this clump of cells out of me. Because that's what they don't think it's a baby. Whereas a woman having a miscarriage knows that's a baby, happy, ready to have it, and then tragedy strikes. What?
A abortion. That's called a miscarriage.
So if you eat a
It
cow,
is called an abortion.
You're committing a
Spontaneous
sin.
abortion.
So there's a difference between humans and animals.
If you look at the
Does it say? It just says
Let's go.
kill. You're just using the word kill.
There's a difference between humans and animals.
Does it say?
No, I'm leaving. I'm
Thou shalt
leaving.
not kill animals?
Can I have a hug?
No.
No, please don't touch me.
Yes,
Please
you
don't
can
touch
have
me.
a hug. Come with
She's
me. I'll
touching.
give you a
Please,
hug.
please.
I'll give you
Can
a
I
hug.
walk out on my own though?
Well, right there's
Can
the
you?
door.
Thank you. All right. So, can we condemn abortion real quick?
Yeah, we can condemn you out the door.
Condemn me?
Out the door. Out the door.
Condemn me?
Out the door.
Can I have a hug?
No, out the door.
Bro, that ship done sailed.
The door's shutting. The door's shutting. I can't leave.
Push the button.
There you go.
Out.
Bye,
Keep
guys.
going. You're doing good. Just
I know.
keep
I
going.
know. I just want to say thank you guys, and I
sure.
really did enjoy the service.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. We're at the United Church of Cookville, and this is the United Church of Cookville. So yeah, love your neighbor, follow the Bible, don't be deceived. Progressive churches is the first step towards atheism, so don't be deceived. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now subscribe for more. Road to 100,000 subs.
You said pretty cringe, not gonna lie. Kyle throwing shots. Hey, because technically he should have left when they told him to leave. But he did that at the last church. At the last LGTV church he was at. He did the same thing. When he should have bounced when they told him to bounce. And that didn't happen. So, alright, y'all. Next video, moving on to the next. Oh, speaking of false pastors and all that. Why did everyone ignore the cameraman? I don't know. This is actually the first church where they did that, so I have no idea. That's a good question. But speaking of false churches, if you guys remember when I did the live stream and we were watching Mike Todd's Easter play, what they call it Easter play, because that was not an Easter play. I don't know what that was. So at Transformation Church, they have the main pastor. So this is Mike Todd's pastor. His name is Tim Ross. He has a podcast called The Basement, and Tim Ross is just as bad as Mike Todd. And now I see, I didn't know he was Mike Todd's pastor, but now I see where Mike Todd gets a lot of his nonsense from when he preaches. So watch this clip, because y'all gonna be like, excuse me, what did they just say? Excuse me? But this is Tim Ross right now. This is Mike Todd's pastor.
From heaven.
Just listen.
And it was bread to them. We don't make it rain on booty cheeks. We don't make it rain on strippers. We only reverence one stripper, and that's the one that took off glory to put on humanity and then get butt naked on a cross to die for both you and me. The only stripper I'm in love with is Jesus.
What is this?
And he's the one that puts that bread in my pocket. That bread in my pocket. From heaven.
Y'all. I first saw this. This was last week when I took a break because I was enjoying my time with my husband. We heard this together. The faces we made looking at each other when this played. And we were like, what did he just say? What was that? My man called Jesus a stripper. He said the only stripper he acknowledges is Jesus. And he said he put that bread in my pocket. He put that. If y'all ever see a Mike Todd video and he just nonsense comes out of his mouth and it'd be like, what did you just say? Just remember, Tim Ross is his pastor. He learned it from Tim Ross, because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. What about that said it was a church? Look, they call themselves a church. I don't think they're a church, but they call themselves a church. Nothing about it was. That looked like a concert. Oh man, you should have been here for the live stream for their Easter play. It had nothing to do about Jesus. Do you know Jesus was shown in that play, I think 3 times, right? Hell though, and Satan was like, that's what that play was about. They made hell look like it was fun, awesome. It was like a concert. Basically, they took every Beyonce song, just played it. It was dancing to it, had the fire come out from the stage. It looked like they were at the Grammys, honestly. It was weird. It was super weird. Had nothing to do about Easter in like the slightest. And the storyline also made no sense. God said the only way to set things straight was that Jesus had to go save Eve and marry her, but he had to go save her from hell. So when you watch things like that and you be like, what does Mike Todd, what goes through his brain when he thinks of this? And then you see that and you be like, oh, this is pastor? Oh, that makes all the sense in the world, because none of them make sense. But then it even made more sense when Mike Todd was like, I don't study the Bible. That seems like a waste of time. What I gotta do that for? It's like, well, sir, you're the pastor. I would assume you have some sort of biblical knowledge. I shouldn't have more biblical knowledge than you. You're the pastor. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. He says, sounds like copious amounts of cringe. It was. It's. I swear the way me and my husband looked at each other when we heard that, and he was like, I don't know what that is, but that's not a church. He was like, ain't none of that a church. All of that. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Wow. I feel like them hours kind of just, that is just zoomed by. All right, we're gonna watch one more video and I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all, because it's getting late. I have a lot of long videos. This is crazy. I need something like not long that we can watch right now. Too many long videos. What is this? Oh, this might be good. It says Jesse Lee Peterson's most intense interview, and it says evolutionist versus Christian debate about creation. It's only 13 minutes long. This actually might be what we end on. This sounds like a good video to end on. Okay. Let's get into this video.
Book called We Are All Apes.
That's correct.
Where's your proof that we are all apes?
Sir, hold on. Why is the jail I know it's a green screen. Why is the jail your background? What was so...
Right, what is the ape?
What?
Right. An ape is any member of the taxonomic superfamily Hominoidea.
Amazing. Have you ever seen a human being turn into you ever seen an ape? Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Have I ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
No, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Have I ever seen a car turn into a Corvette?
Can you hear me?
What?
Yeah, have I ever seen a shark turn into a fish?
I didn't ask about any of those things. I asked, when have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
I'm trying to illustrate the fallacy of your question.
How's that fallacy? What? You wrote that we're all ape. You must have.
And we are.
You must have at some point all these hundreds of thousands of years. At some point, you would have seen if an ape turned into a human being. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Don't say this. Whoops, I picked the wrong one.
humans
Don't say that, bro.
are
Don't
apes.
say that, because all I'm gonna think about is the clip from the Whatever podcast, that trans man that was on there. Well, the woman, he a man, whatever, but he was bigger. That's all everybody kept calling him. Don't say that.
Apes, in the same way that a duck is a bird. So if you ask me if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck, that's kind of a stupid question.
Because I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that. I asked you, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
That is a nonsense question.
Why?
Because it's like asking for a place halfway between Los Angeles and California.
No, it's not. I didn't ask about that.
I know. Well, you don't know what you asked.
I do know.
Yes, he does. He asked you.
You wrote a book called We Are All Apes.
And it gives the proof in the book.
I'm asking, have you personally seen a human being, an ape turn into a human being?
It would be impossible for a human being to be anything other than an ape, for the same reason that it is impossible for a dachshund to be anything but a dog. Have you ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
Why are you running from that question?
I'm not. I'm answering
No, you're running.
question.
No, you're running, bro.
No, you're running. You're running from that question. You wrote this book that we are apes.
I'm facing you head on, answering your question directly.
No, you're not.
Humans are a subset of the category of apes.
I didn't ask you that.
We start
I asked
out
you
apes.
how
We can't. So therefore, it makes no sense to ask how the parent category turns into the subcategory. It is exactly the same as asking if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck. Do you understand why your question? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck? How about I ask you that?
But that wasn't the question.
That wasn't.
But that's the same question, isn't it?
You wrote the book saying we are. You tried to divert. You tried to deviate from the question. You wrote a book called "We Are All Apes." And so how can you write a book?
Bro, we are 3 minutes into this guy of not answering this question. Like, is this about to be the whole 13 minutes?
That says we're all ape. Well, you've never seen an ape turn into a human being.
Have you ever seen a duck turn into a? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck?
Why are you dodging the question, man?
I'm not dodging the question. I'm answering it.
No, you're not. It's like when I asked you if you love a Christian, you went all around.
I answered that question.
I asked you where you going. You tell me where you've been.
And I answered your question directly.
No, you didn't. You're not answering this
one. Yes, I did.
So one more time with that, and then we.
You said who dyes their beard? This guy apparently. It looks weird.
You have to move on.
You don't understand what the word ape means. That's why I'm trying to explain it to you.
Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Okay, let's look at that. What does the word ape mean? That means a bipedal hominoid with a certain number of hair follicles, with a certain type of teeth, with fingerprints and fingernails. That means all these descriptive features that we share. Have I ever seen us turn into us?
You just use the words, but you're not making sense because I do want to know.
You don't know anything at all about taxonomy whatsoever. So how can I?
So you're not able to answer that question.
Who doesn't know anything about it.
So you're not able to answer that question. I want to do a follow-up.
Do you understand that the word ape is a taxonomic question? Right? That's a taxonomic word. Do you understand what it means?
No, that's not the question, though. You're deviating.
No, I'm not deviating. What does the word ape mean?
Prove to me that you've seen an ape turn into a human being.
What does the word ape mean?
Word can mean many things. But let me ask you this.
But this word means one thing. What does it mean?
I have no idea.
It means any member of the taxonomic superfamily Hominoidea, which means that it has a number of these characteristics: fingernails and finger.
Bro, you just described this right here. You described a lot of guys that go to those gaming and nerd conventions. I would know. I've been to enough when I had my last channel. This is good. I am late. What would you expect from Unitarians? This is. I really wish this guy would just answer the question. Or Jesse just moves on.
All of these characters.
I'll take either or at this point.
Pectoral meme, etc. There's a whole long list of different physical characteristics that define what an ape is.
Okay, so fine. I don't care about the humanity.
You know what's a fun question to ask, like this group over here? So they'd be like, we came from apes. So you know how like the line of thinking is that like, oh, it's these microbioorganisms, which then turned into fish, and then some fish went on land and started walking, and that turned into this and this and this, which turned into the ape, which then turned into us, right? It's like this long line of stuff that kept evolving, evoluting. And if you ever look at them and be like, okay, but why is that still not happening today? Like, if that happens and things could just keep evolving to that point, right? Because humans been here for like ever. So we've been here long enough where like it should have been another evolution at some point. It should have, something else should have happened, or something else should have came out the water, or another ape should have then turned into another human. How come that stopped happening? You know, they get angry when you say this. Have you ever done it to them? They just get really angry. Y'all should try it one day. It's so funny. A lot of these facts. So like with black people, when they be like, I would never believe in Christianity. That's the white man's religion. They gave that to us in slavery. If you ever look at them and be like, actually, Christianity came to Africa very early on, like around, I thought it was 75 AD, but over the weekend, another person was like, actually it was like 35 AD, somewhere around there, right? And they'd be like, it actually came to northern Africa around that point in time. So well before colonization from the white man, right? You tell that to a black person, it's the same thing. They get so angry. That's not true. You don't really believe that. Our ancestors never did that. Our ancestors believed in other gods and the earth and all this. And you'd be like, no, Christianity's been there like since that long. We didn't get it in slavery. You just say things that are facts to people that don't want to hear it. I think I said that earlier. Say factual things to people that don't want to hear it. You don't get the wildest responses from people.
But what I do want to know, I do want to know if you ever seen an ape.
You want to ask me a nonsense question.
I want to know, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being? After all these years, you would have think that somebody, somewhere, somehow, would have seen an ape turn into a human being, and no one has ever seen that.
Except that you're asking a question that makes no sense.
Even the people in books that you have read, and the folks that you listen to,
Are we done here?
We're 5.5 minutes in.
Are we done here? Because you're not going to listen to my explanation. You're
Jesse, just move on.
Because
He's
you're
not
answering my question.
I am answering your question.
You're going around my
you don't
question.
understand what it means.
You're going around my question. You're not answering my question.
I did not go around your question.
You did. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
You don't know what the word ape means.
I don't care about the word. I do know what it means. I'm asking you.
Okay, then tell me. What does the word ape mean?
I asked you, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
You're using these words. I want to know what you think these words mean. Because I know what the words mean.
The one thing I know for sure.
Yeah, I know for sure what
I know for sure.
And I can prove what the words mean, but
you and no one has ever seen
using them incorrectly.
You and
so what does the word ape mean to you?
You and those people who are claiming that apes turn into human beings or human beings came from apes.
I don't claim that apes turn into human beings. We are
that human
apes.
being came from apes.
A
have
human
no proof of that
can't be anything other than an ape. We are classified as apes.
You're not listening.
Oh no. You're not listening.
No, you're not listening.
You're not listening.
All right, so is that where we're going to be here?
No.
Are we done?
No.
You either learn how to have the communication both ways, or we're done here.
You have to learn how to answer a question.
Jesse,
I did answer the question.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not answer the question.
No sense.
Let me ask.
I explained to you why the question makes no sense. Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck? Does that question make any sense to you?
Right. Just like, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human?
Do you understand that all birds are ducks?
As dumb as that.
Do you understand that ducks are birds?
That question is as dumb as the question about apes.
What you asked me is a dumbass question. I'm trying to show you how dumbass it is. Do you understand that ducks
Did you say dumb
birds?
ass?
Do you understand that ducks are birds?
Did you say dumb ass? What?
Yes. In this situation, you just answer directly. No, and then you can move the conversation forward. I agree with you. I would have been moved on from this. We are now 7.5 minutes in, and this dude is still refusing to answer. I would have been like, okay, moving on, whatever. And we would have skipped
Let me ask
you understand that ducks are birds?
You believe in evolution, right?
I don't believe in it, no. I can show it, demonstrate it, prove it even to you. Do you understand that ducks are birds?
Why do you believe in evolution
because I can prove it
if no one has ever seen it?
But we have seen it.
No,
yes,
you haven't.
We've relied on it throughout the entire history of
no one has
agriculture.
ever seen
it. It is demonstrated fact. We can observe it. We can test it, verify it numerous ways. I can prove that.
No,
even
you can't.
To you.
So
now,
why
get back
is
to my
evolution?
question so that you can understand this?
Why is evolution
Do you
still?
understand?
Why
do you
is
understand that
evolution just a theory even today?
Why is it that atomic theory is just a theory?
See, you're not
today?
answering the question. You're answering the question with another crazy question.
Why is it the theory of gravity is just a theory today?
Why is evolution still considered a theory?
This man ain't answering
For the same
nothing.
reason that
I would
atomic
have been
theory is
ended
still
this
considered
interview.
a theory. For the same reason that the theory of gravity is still a theory. For the same reason that the germ theory of disease is still a theory.
So
For the same
because
reason
it
that
can't
the
be
cell theory of
proven to be
biology
real.
is theory. Because there is a rule in science that we want to go the complete opposite direction of religion, and rather than assert things to be true that are not true, we are not allowed to proclaim absolute truth. So everything that we know to be true has to be regarded as a theory, on the hypothetical potential, at least, that something could be improved or changed later on.
That's amazing.
There is a rule.
Because of time, let me ask you this.
There is a rule in science that you cannot prove.
You're talking
if there's
theory.
a rule in science, I'm answering your question.
But you're talking
it.
theory.
I'm answering the question, and you won't let me answer it. There is a rule in science that says that you cannot prove any theory to be true in the positive sense. At most, the most you can do is show.
I know scientists who have proved that God exists, and I know those who are against God, and they think that God doesn't exist.
I actually had somebody tell me, we did the whole Ron Wyatt theory. Not there. He got me saying theory now. We watched all the Ron Wyatt videos on my channel, right? And we've studied that. This was like earlier in my channel. So one of them, which ended up being true, by the way, he found the part where it made the most sense, where if God was to part the ocean for them to cross, right? Because it still had to make sense for them to actually walk across, even though the water was parted, because if we're talking about an ocean, like the other parts of that area was so far, like it went so deep down, it like, we're talking about like cattle and stuff moving, like wagons and everything, they would have never like made it back up, right? Ron found the path where it was this one very shallow, narrow path that went straight across. So if the water was to get parted there, that would make the most sense. And a lot of people went there, found that, obviously, remember when they went after Moses and his people and God like closed the water back up, and you had all those people, they were on horses and they had their shields and all that. All that was found in that area, in that water. So all that was still preserved. They found all of that from that time period, right? I remember telling somebody that. And I was just like, oh, but this happened, and all these people went out here and found it. And they were just like, that's not a fact, that's a theory. And I was like, excuse me? What did you just say? And they're like, yeah, that's a theory because that can't be proven. And I was like, they literally went out there and then had other people go out there separate from them to prove it. So that's not a theory at that point. That's been proven. Like, that's a thing. And it was like, no, that's a theory because that can't be proven. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It bothered me like so much. I'm like, and that's basically what this guy right here is saying. He was just like, there's a rule in science where you can't prove anything. It all has to be theories and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that don't mean it's real, my guy. And like, the fact that you're backing everything on that, you got a lot of faith to believe in whatever you trying to run that theory off of. Because
no, you don't.
But let me
makes sense.
Because of
you
time,
don't know.
I
you
do
don't
know.
Any scientists
I know scientists who have proved that God exists.
You don't.
I do.
No, you
yes.
don't. Then where is their Nobel Prize? Why have I not heard of them? Why are there still atheists? Why is the majority of the scientific community still atheist?
Because
if
the Nobel Prize
had ever proved that God existed, then we would all know that God exists. No, you don't.
We do know that God exists.
Scientist
yes, I do.
And you can't show
let me
documentation
say
of
this to you. You asked why there are no Nobel.
It's funny because here's another thing. You can't prove that God exists. There's been many of places and things from the Bible that have been found. And it's crazy because then when those things are found, people still want to be like, that's BS. I don't believe that. Right? I just read something. I actually read it last week. Where they were like, oh, if this is real, then where wherever the Hittites lived, and I'm probably butchering the name on that, but they were just like, well, where's that at then, huh? There's that at it. They found that. Like, archaeologists stuff found that whole area. They found it. And it's like, oh, we found these things, and this would belong to these people, so that would mean this was correct, and the Bible was correct about this. That's been found. That's the thing. You want to deny it because you just don't want to believe it, but it's there. All of this stuff is there. I don't understand it. I understand. And you know what's funny? On one of my videos, I got like the craziest comment. Because the guy was like, you guys have a weird view on what faith is. You're not supposed to have things to show proof because faith is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I agree with you. The proof ain't for us. We know God real. We already know God's real. We good on that. The proof is for y'all that don't believe. And it's crazy that once y'all get it, y'all still choose not to believe. It's there. We cool with our faith. We already know what it is. I just don't understand.
Well, Peace Prize for.
If all you're going to do is lie to me.
You ask why there are Nobel Peace.
And that's apparently all you're going to do.
You ask why aren't there any. You ask why are there any Nobel Peace Prize for the scientists who have proven God exists?
That's not what
because
I said
the people
at all.
who hand out.
I called you out. You told a lie.
The people
you
who
said that there were scientists who proved that God exists.
Say, hold on.
There is no scientist. There is no.
Say, get behind me. Hold on.
No scientist has ever done that. If that had happened,
let me tell you,
there would be buckets of documentation.
Let me say that the reason that
would have gotten the Nobel Prize and the Templeton Prize, they'd be world famous.
Fine. The reason that the scientists who prove that God
there is no science to prove God exists.
Doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize because of people who are handed out.
There's been many scientists that have proved things from the Bible. Y'all just don't want to listen to it. That's the crazy part. Y'all just don't want to listen. That's all that is. Also, the first scientists used the Bible to prove a lot of things that we don't want to have that conversation. No, I recently told somebody that they didn't want to hear it. They did not want to hear it.
No,
of their father, the devil. So they hate the children of God.
There's no devil either. Okay, I think we're done.
There's what did he say?
Not quite yet. Almost. Notice that atheists tend to lean more toward the left more than toward the right. Why is that?
That's not true for a lot of cases, I'm sorry to say.
I said most, not all, but why is that?
Because a lot of us care more about truth than
because y'all are selfish.
But the left is of the lie.
What's that?
The left is of the lie. They're of their father, the devil.
No, that itself, what you just said, is a lie.
Why is that?
Because it's documented false. It's factually false.
I have proof. Why would a man that is left like you try to turn anyone away from God? If you don't believe that there is a God, you work all the time to turn people away from God.
That are nonsense. You keep making assertions that are factually false.
You said you have helped
things about myself that are wrong.
You said that you have helped Christians, those who believe in God, turn away from Him.
All right, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to just sit here and let you lie to me?
No, I got to put you on the hot seat. I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible.
What? What is this?
The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant,
what is this
or
video?
favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to them all. People are trapped by evil
is his
times
video,
that fall
by the way.
unexpectedly upon them.
I thought this was an ad.
You are young and kind.
Huh? He said, I got to put you in the hot seat. And then the interview, wait, that ending, what was that ending? That's the real video. Why did it turn into that? And nobody's talking about this ending? What? Okay. All right, well, something I was going to show. Something I was going to show where he said the left is a lie, right? And the dude was like, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. There's no good or evil, Satan, or whatever he was saying. This is from, what is this, Nebraska? Yeah, abortion is now legal in Nebraska, right? Which is sad. Look how happy these women are. These are all women from the left. These are Democratic women. Look how happy they are that it's legal. They're hugging each other. They're crying. Look at them. They're crying and they're happy because abortion is legal. Look how happy they are. This is from the left. This is insane. You can't tell me this is not evil. These people are ecstatic about getting to kill a baby. This is weird. They always try to use the excuse, what about rape? What about incest? That's less than 1% of abortions. 99% of abortions is just women just like, I'm not ready for this right now. This ain't happening. I'm not trying to have this baby. They'll say whatever they gotta say. They have this. But this is disgusting. Been a while, but I've been meaning to come back here saying, hey, Mary Shelley, welcome to the stream. Hey. Hey, you came back right on time because I wasn't here last week at all. Thank you for joining us. I was actually about to get off in a minute. Kyle and Tech Boy just been going back and forth talking. They've been going back and forth talking. Has Kyle been educating you, Tech Boy? Because I know he has. Abortion is their chief sacrament. They use the exact same words that Christ used. This is my body. It's sad. It's so sad. I could never. I mean, technically, I never can due to my situations. But even so, couldn't do it. It's sick. Like, the whole, like, your body is for your spouse only, and y'all meant to be fruitful and multiply. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be out here just the whole feminist movement, how they teach you, be independent girl, sleep with whoever you want, do whatever you want, abort that baby. Like, no, that's not how life is. That's not how it is at all. Bryson Gray, save the babies. How you out here living and don't want the same thing for your seed? How you gonna take that life to be back out here on your knees? Right? Speaking of Bryson Gray, I got his hoodie on right now. Make America godly again. I like Bryson Gray. I'm gonna ask him, I don't know if he comes on small shows, but one day I'm gonna just ask him and be like, hey bro, you wanna come on my podcast one day? I start at 7. I know that's not late for you. We could talk, chop it up for an hour. I'm sure he'd be fine with it. He'd be cool. He'd be all right. But all right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and hop off because it's my first night back. This has been wonderful because I told y'all I missed y'all. I miss y'all a lot. I'm glad. I'm glad to be back with y'all, man. So much stuff has happened and I couldn't talk about it with nobody. But before I get out of here, real quick, one last time, okay? June 1st. It's a night of whiskey and cigars. Okay, this is hosted by Kyle, who's in the chat right now, and Derek Cummins. Only 30 spots available. All right, it's gonna be at the Cigar Bar, Chesterton and Co. Cigars. I can't talk. This is how I know it's getting late. I can't talk. All right, this is gonna be in Steubenville, Ohio, on June 1st. So if y'all want to go, hit this link. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. Well, on YouTube, the rest of the chat, look, y'all, the other places, I'm sorry. I can't. Y'all gonna miss it, all right? Just look this up. Go to Eventbrite. If you're watching me from any other platform, go to Eventbrite. Type in a night of fraternity and revelry, June 1st. It'll pop up. I promise you it will. I promise you it will, all right? That's how you get here if you want to join them. You get free booze. Matt Fradd will be there from Pints of Aquinas. He'll be there. Kyle will be there. Derek will be there. Everybody else will be there. It's free. All right. He said the cigars are not free though, but the booze is. Look, booze, free booze for those that drink. That's a W. All right. That's a W. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out. I'm actually going to end it on this screen. I'm not even going to go back to the other screen. Thank y'all for joining me. I hope to see y'all tomorrow. I will be back here at 7 p.m. EST, as always, for another night of the Conservative Christian Show with me. It's your girl, Sang. It's your girl, Married, Sang now. Bing. Hey, gotta go. All right, I'm happy, y'all. Let me tell y'all real quick. I might have to go back to the other screen. Let me tell y'all real quick. Telling my family what was happening was nuts. His family, ecstatic. My family, I'm going to probably kill them because that's just how it ended up being. But no. Let me show y'all real quick. I may have gotten married, but there's going to be an actual, like, better ceremony for family and friends. It's going to be like in a year or so. But this is where I plan on having it when that day comes. We gonna have it here. Oh, this is small. I can't make this bigger. That's the best we got? Okay, I'll take it. No, go back. I'm gonna have it at the Pretty Place Chapel in South Carolina. That's the game plan. So we're gonna actually go later this year in a few months, more than likely before fall hits. And we're gonna go check it out in person. But if it looks like these pictures, look at this picture. If it looked like this in person, sold. The only thing is, so my husband's mom is in a wheelchair, so I kind of have to think about that. Because this is like out in like a forest. it's like out in a campground. So I do have to think about that because these are steps. She can walk a little bit. I'm pretty sure she'll walk for this. But getting to this point, it has to be wheelchair accessible somewhere. So that's all. Thank y'all for joining me. I will see y'all tomorrow. But real quick before I bounce, what y'all saying up in the chat? Good night, hallelujah. Good night to you. Yep. Save the babies. Yes, save the babies. Tech Boy listening to Adventures in Odyssey right now. He said someone asked how's God, and she said yesterday, today, and forever. Oh, I love it. All right, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Oh, I actually might have to change screens because I need my outro. It's only on this screen. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Once again, thank you for popping through. Till then, Trunks. Go ahead and play my outro real quick.